Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, LinkedIn friends, Valley First Nation. Welcome to a super special LinkedIn Live, launching a Value First Summer here with my good friend Nico Fakis. How you doing, man?
Doing very well, sir. Doing very well. Great to be here. Great to see you again.
Uh, uh, it's gonna be fun. Um, Most of the stuff I show today probably has been built in the last 12 hours. Um, Most of it has not been checked. So we're gonna see real quick how much of a chance my hypothesis uh, uh, has. I'm feeling pretty good though. I'll be
Okay.
honest.
Okay.
I don't know how in the hell I have not even come close to the limit this morning of
Of
my
yourself?
Claude Max subscription
Wow.
because lots of workflows, lots of ultra coding, getting like 6, 7 sessions, and still it's only at like 30%. I'm gonna choose to believe that there is something they are doing where, well, a lot of the value of Fable and Mythos is flowing down into Opus 4.8
Mhm.
while they figure that out. Um, whether it be the more efficient token usage or just like easing up on the limits because nobody likes the fact that we can't access the best model in the world right now. But yeah, it's been a fun morning, man. How about
Which
you?
I'll say in fairness, he did just submit something back to the government like on I think either yesterday or maybe on Thursday. So they are working on it. And in that interview he did with Emily Chang, he stressed pretty heavily. So I don't know it seems like it's quite the extent, but he stressed pretty heavily that this is causing them quite a lot of pain from a just from like a professional standpoint and from like a economic standpoint for the company. It's causing them a lot of issues. So I can definitely imagine that they want to get it back out as soon as they can. Um, the the amount of people that were just really thrown by it being gone, I don't know. Like I'm not sure what to tell you guys. I was telling my wife this weekend, or just over the weekend here, that it still feels like, and I don't know if you still feel the same way. It still feels like I'm one of the Ghostbusters staring down at the river of slime, and that everyone around me pretty much is just asleep in their apartments. No idea what's going on, have no clue what's advancing, right? And it's like outside of, because it goes well beyond, like, obviously it's so easy, that's the thing. People are, oh, it's so hard to keep up with everything. Totally understand that. I really do. But it really will become a matter of, or it should become a matter of, like, hey, you have some interest in politics, you have some interest in like cars, you have some interest in sports, you have some interest in whatever. It's just that way. You're just gonna have to branch more into like subjects of robotics and AI, and you kind of just pick your lanes. Anyhow, seeing more and more of what like just knew was coming down the pike, like end of this year for sure, like robots in homes for sure, and by like a large margin too, right? Um,
Yeah,
Optimus, Tesla's shooting for a $20,000 Optimus next year, right? Um,
yeah, on the back of Elon's $2 trillion. Uh,
billion
uh,
dollar SpaceX launch, right?
yeah,
And so, and like, I want to jump on that real quick, just because the news on that is the same. And if you've listened to us for any length of time, you know where this is going. But if you've listened to us for any length of time, you also know that we're right. We were right the entire time. Okay. This all of this BS start well, first of all, with Elon, it all started with Tesla, and everybody thought that like it was just a money grab and it was hype and oh, he's scamming this and he's scamming that, this, whatever it is. And no, ends up that it's just a legit good, as good as it can be electric car company. Yes, is BYD or does BYD produce, better cars for less? Yeah, they do. It's just a completely different market. Like it's really difficult to compete with that market, especially the fact that all of the products that BYD needs to make their vehicles are domestic. They don't have to import like very much of it at all, right? Um, they
Yeah,
are to be the greatest competitor, and they are the greatest competitor to Tesla. And of course, you have to take into account that yes, you know, Chinese companies don't necessarily have to pay. The salaries aren't, it's just the salaries aren't the same. So the costs aren't the same. It's not necessarily that like
right.
they get paid less. It's the equivalent necessarily for where they live. But anyhow,
Yeah. The last
yeah,
episode of Moonshots, I thought Peter did a great job kind
I
of
was a
giving
bit
some
surprised.
some background on Elon,
Yeah.
um, including like, at least for me, kind of explaining the fact that like the person who took the biggest risk, like now
Mhm.
gets rewarded. If there is truth, this is why I don't know the whole story. I just believe those guys are they're good people and um like if there was a point where there was no money and he was gonna have to look for other avenues and now here this comes like it's been a while in the making and like that's some this foundation and like what I'm gonna show today is really just like we're gonna continue doing whatever we can to wake you up.
Hmm.
Um, or if you feel like you're already awake, take you farther, right? Because
Yep.
this stems from um, like I it was last week. I got I got this is where maybe it's a marketing thing too. It's like you had to sign up um and you had to apply
Yeah.
to get to go to the Moonshots, gathering, which is the first event of its kind, really, like, for, listeners of the Moonshots, which I highly recommend. Like, if you can listen to any resource related to AI news, like, it's
That's
this
yeah.
one because they talk about all the infrastructure and energy and just everything that kinda rolls up into it. And I got in, after applying, I don't know, a couple months ago or something, and, it was $1,500 for the ticket, um, and I was like, "Why would I apply, and why would I do all the things that I'm doing if I'm not willing, to invest in this part?" Right?
Right.
Like, so I bought the ticket. Um, but I also know that I have tendencies to, throw money at things, whether it be purchasing new tools or new programs or whatever, and then not delivering. So this idea of a value for a summer came from me wanting to make good on this investment,
Hmm.
right? As I've been putting it together, it feels like a rocket ship that I've been building for like the last couple of years, right?
Yeah.
That I'm launching today, basically, and just what I've been able to do in the past couple of days, right?
Hmm.
Um, where like the first unlock was like I've been trying like a full focus planner system, right? It's like a big three daily, weekly, monthly, you know, and this idea of focus forever has eluded me. And it's never been easier to not focus as you can spin up a new session with any idea and go as deep as you want, and then leave it, and then come back and leave it again, right? But I've run into the usual issue of not finishing, right? Just starting
Yeah.
a lot and then getting to like, 80, 90, 95% done and not realizing the value. Um, so I've been working on that specifically over the past few weeks. Then this happened, and we've been saying since last year, like we went to the HubSpot AI Summit.
Mhm.
Like it was the first time I'd been at an event like that where focus was not mentioned like at all,
No.
right? It was about speed, like creativity, innovation, like that's what creates the moat. That's what's different now. And not only does it help justify the way I want to live, but it helps you understand what, like with AI, when it can add these capabilities at any given moment that you want, right? If you limit yourself because I got to focus on this thing today and I'm not allowed to focus on this opportunity that just showed up at the front door and I could
Right.
leverage it immediately if I wanted to, right? That's what's happening in most organizations right now. They're never going to see it like that. But when we have standard operating procedures and just the way we've always done things and all of this stuff that gets in the way of any kind of just creative safety, basically.
Mhm.
Um, and organizations are having a hard time. So, what I hope to um, show today is basically I was continuing even in these new spaces to set up this idea of help me get the big three documented every day. And it was like last weekend, the agent that was helping me, I forget which one, was like, "Yeah, I'm not seeing any recent big threes documented. Is this working for you?" And I was like, "You know what? No,
Let's
it
go.
hasn't worked at all. Like, obviously, you can see it for yourself. Like, I just needed somebody to say that,
Right.
right?" And so I'm like, so then I was gonna go because this idea of the curation engine I've been working on, where it's like, you know, if we can put humans in a position to like just make one tap decisions that they trust, um, at any given moment of the day, like how powerful that would be. So then I was like, okay, maybe I should just do big one. And I'm like, no, like what if I just did big 20? Like,
Right.
right? Like here's everything I can think of right now that I care about, right? And um so from that, like stem this idea. And of course, like like the reason I need like infinite possibilities to be able to work on is like that immediately led to like like another idea, which is like, hey, we could have a D20 and then just roll it. And then every day that's gonna decide like what I
Oh my gosh.
right. Um, but let me see if we can get some numbers on this thing. Not
This
yet.
is this is hilarious.
Um uh But, so this is what I'm gonna use today to go through all these different initiatives, including a secret number 20, that I hope to pitch, here. Um, it's one of the leading contenders for what I should pitch, while I figure out how to, show up with a pitch that I can only imagine is supposed to be like Shark Tank style,
Mhm.
and that I hate that. Like, I hate that whole thing. Like, so, that's a personal problem now. I'm gonna figure that out. Either way, I feel like I've got some healthy ideas that could change the world.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, just the unlock and the freedom of, like, embracing like, giving myself permission that maybe I don't have to focus. Like, I'm not going to, right? Like, I'm just not gonna focus in the way that everybody suggests. So what
Right.
I'm finding, and I think the speed of the last couple days, what I am super clear on is this endpoint, right? And this destination. And how often do we focus on the thing that we've got to get done today versus nobody having any idea on the North Star, the horizon, the place everybody's heading, right? Like that's been advice for years, but not near it's a lot harder to align everybody on, hey, this is the direction we're going, right? And when I'm trying to get things done with lots of agents in lots of different sessions, like the more clear the end goal is, the easier it is for them to align. Surprise, right? Um, and not to mention AI is getting a ton better. Feels like it is. So just I'm getting better at structuring, the main brain, the context architecture, and they're seeing things done across sessions that I'm not asking them to see. And it is a beautiful, beautiful thing. Um, so I'm gonna roll for the first time, and then we're gonna fit in commentary and everything as we go. Um, so just to kick us off here, what I'm trying to prove throughout the summer uh, is that an AI native operator with an interest based nervous system, aka ADHD, um, can realize more value and stay healthier doing it if the system externalizes the executive load, routes activation through interest rather than importance, and measures value created instead of activity performed. And as I read that for the first time, uh, one of my struggles is always like, as soon as I put a to do list down, as soon as I created a big three, as soon as I created a priority list, it wasn't getting done? Whatever was at the top of that list, easy, hard, no matter what,
Yeah, didn't
right?
matter.
Right? Because and a lot of the time that importance is coming from somebody else, right? Which I think is the biggest challenge for some of us, and that's where the interest base is like, what am I interested in right now? Like, and how can we empower ourselves to like just focus on that thing? Like, what am I passionate about right now? Like, no
Mhm.
more grinding. Like that ends up in lower quality work, lower quality prompts, even like skipping the reviews you should be doing with AI because just like, let's get it done. Right.
Yep.
Um, so that's what we're up to. I've got some surprises along the way, but let's roll this first one and see what we get here. All right. 7. Oh, starting with a good one. Um, the value creation protocol. And on the way to this call, I was working on like a pop up that would give profiles when it was done. So, oh yeah, I'm not even supposed to intro it. Hold on. And I need to share sound. I'm so good at this.
It's so funny that you bring that up because I was just listening to a podcast episode of like AI News Daily with you pick one. Um and the guy was doing a live demo and same thing for about like 2 or 3 minutes. It's just like, and my mouse just died. So give me a second. Like,
Right. Uh, yeah. Like, man, watch out when AI can help us with the hardware too. Um, uh, Next year. All right. So we rolled a 7.
I'm Oracle. The value creation protocol is the discipline underneath everything else, how you decide what's worth doing before you do it. Not a framework on a slide, the operating spine. Value at creation protocol. Calm is where that thinking is written down and held to.
So using the free voices right now, not 11
Yeah.
Labs.
Yeah.
So, but this is one of the things, like everything you're seeing here, like the voice, the like which was just wired up like 30 minutes ago. The sprite, um, this scene, the whole composition here was one of the things that like none of it existed 12 hours ago. Um, maybe a little bit before that. Let's say 24 hours since yesterday,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so the value creation protocol is basically something I'm putting together to help teams define value, right, for their org. I think one of the biggest issues right now is like when it feels like the volume is rising, and you can tell me if you agree or not. Like especially on moonshots, like every time they talk about billions and trillions of dollars, it's usually hand in hand with at least Salim says it almost every time now.
Yeah.
It's like, when does money stop mattering?
Yes.
Right? Like
Yeah.
right around the corner.
That's the thing. Like, guys, if there's something you have to sort of take into account, and um, it's real interesting. Dario said it. If you like, I know not everybody has the time, but like we share these resources. If you're part of Value First Slack, if you're part of the Value First group, you'll definitely get your hands on these resources. We share them all the time, and honestly, the stuff that we share is like, hey, pivotal moment, you need to check this out, or like, hey, pivotal feature, you need to check this out. We don't share, like, me and Chris will share like everything and anything that comes across because it's like, hey, this is kind of cool. Look at this little interesting thing, right? But the stuff that we share publicly is like, you should look at this because that's how, like, that's how important it is. I don't, like, even on LinkedIn, I don't share like every little thing I come across. I share the things that are seriously, like, sincerely important. Dario in his last interview talked about the fact that the pie is going to get bigger. That is what's happening. What SaaS apocalypse looks like is a normalization of the hourly effort put into creating software. So, because AI can develop the software at a lightning speed by comparison to a human, the human's value of time to create is no longer what it was. That value is now placed elsewhere. To Chris's point, it's in the end result. It's at the end of the rainbow now. Everything to get there is now this like seriously awesome mechanical wonder, right? Same thing as yeah, everybody talks about like job displacement or whatever, and they're like, yeah, but all the different revolutions throughout history like didn't really replace a whole lot or what have you. And it's like, really? Like everybody talks about like the industrial revolution replacing horse and buggy or whatever. It was crazy popular. I'm sorry. It wasn't like, oh, well, it's not that big a deal in like industry or whatever. Like whole industry of like, hey, we need horses went right out the window to like, who wants horses? Like entire just war in and of, like, not that that's a great reason, but like just war in and of itself brought about this like, hey, we can't even use horses in war anymore. It's dumb. Like there's no point in bringing those on the field, so we can just cut those out entirely. Like that was a whole thing up until then. Cavalry was a big deal. Like, I hate to break it to you guys, but there were a lot of horses. Anyway, so yes, an entire industry quite literally went out overnight in terms of, hey, this no longer has the value that it did anymore because now this automated thing can do it in a much, more efficient manner of time and just even altogether like manner. So now we're experiencing the same thing, but it's just like lightning fast, right? And so again, the pie is going to get larger. The amount of people who are going to be able to develop software is going to get bigger. the options you are going to have are going to get greater. Think about the gaming industry. Now, again, like it's not that I want these things to happen to jobs, but to your point, and at the same time, if we have the spectrum where one guy has $1 trillion, everybody's like, oh my God, the system's so broken. Like, that's the point. That guy continuing to have the extreme level of wealth and these like 5, 6 companies starting to have this extreme level of wealth breaks the system. It makes it untenable. The world of finance does not know what to do right now. I'm watching it. They have no clue because they're not quite sure. The whole SpaceX thing, this is what's hilarious to me. Like why I don't understand why people couldn't see this coming, why they couldn't see what was going on. Theoretically, according to the financialists, this is a money grab. This is a huge money grab. I don't know how anybody can't see this. They're tying your future. They're tying your retirement to SpaceX. They're tying it to Elon, and he's gonna bankrupt your retirement funds. Why? Because Peter Thiel decided to be a dick and cash out immediately. Okay, awesome. That's Peter Thiel. Bye. Like, really, we're all going to like care over one dude. In the meantime, I don't know if you all have noticed, we are not going to be building data centers on Earth, at least not in the US. I don't know if you guys have looked outside lately, but good luck putting up a new data center. It's mayhem out there. I've never seen so many pitchforks and torches in my life, ever. I mean, like every county I look at is just like, hey, if you put up a data center, we will vote you out. That's how simple it is. Like in terms of local governments, they're just like, yeah, go ahead and put it up. We'll just vote you out. Like you can't not do, you know what I mean? Like that's the one thing you guys can't defend. So we'll just get out. We'll just get rid of you. And then all of a sudden, lo and behold, the data center can't get built now. Some states are doing it properly and they're saying, yes, you can if you pay for your build and you pay for the electricity and you pay for the resources. Whoa, what doesn't that make amazing sense? Holy. So not a lot of data centers going to be getting built out. Look, if you didn't know, Aaron Brockovich is on this thing. They've got like a whole US map of like, here's where they're trying to build a data center. And people are just showing up hand over fist. Republican, Democrat, independent, does not matter. These things, look, even from somebody who loves and just lives, breathes, eats, sleep AI, the way it's being done is terrible. Is it necessary? Yes, but the way that it's being done is terrible. There are only a handful of companies and they're very small and they only have like 3 or 4 locations that are doing it right. All the other companies that are trying to make money because they are owned by BlackRock are not following those procedures. They are not doing it right. They are definitely tearing up the ground and not doing anything in terms of in terms of EPA stuff. Anyhow, that being the case, all of that you just heard, Occam's razor, it's either all of that or let's put them in space. Now you know why SpaceX is worth what it's worth, and now you know why it's going to be worth what it's worth forever. And the number one guy who is trying to make you think otherwise, Mr. Bezos, who's not even really in the game anymore, made this ridiculous statement about, oh my gosh, it's way too expensive. Couldn't possibly do it. You need so much money. Why don't you guys go do a search for Blue Origin, space project, data center? And you'll go see the stories about Blue Origin building data centers and working out how they're going to launch them into space because he's a liar, right? Like, like that's where they're going. We are not building them on Earth. We are going to put them in space. It's way easier to put power to them. There's companies who have already worked out the process for how to like stream the data quickly enough. It's all like, it's really like the let's put it this way, the math is done. It's just a matter of like physically getting the stuff up there and making it work, right?
Yeah, and it's similar to like what happened with nuclear.
Yeah,
and it's just like
it's the first time we've had publicly investable infrastructure, like in a way that makes sense, right? Like no one ever told people back in the day, hey, invest in like even retirement funds. Let's put them in electricity because it's never going anywhere, right? It's obviously only gonna get like larger and larger. But no, that never really happened, right? Now we have
Right.
these companies, and I don't know if you guys have noticed this either. OpenAI and Anthropic have both made huge, massive public statements, both of which, hey, we're ready. Tax the profits, please, because we realize it's going to start coming out the gate. Let's do it. Put it down on paper and let's start distributing the money. Right. So
Right.
these are not companies that are like, yeah, no, we're going to make all this money and we're not going to do it. We're just going to hold on to it.
Right. But that's the interesting thing. Like, distribute the money. Okay. Like, it makes sense why people react the way they do when they see like numbers that you cannot fathom. All
Yeah.
you know is like it's a unfathomable amount of money. That's all we really know. And it's not going to touch you, like, which is like 98% the US. Um,
Mhm.
and that's why, like, first of all, when you when I hear most of these folks talk, including Elon, not doing it for the money.
Yep.
Like they're trying to solve interstellar problems, like literally, right? And that's what's driving, right? And it turns out they need a lot of money to do it, which is
Mhm.
usually why they ask for the money,
Right.
right? But for everybody else, especially as we've talked so many times before, when we have an economy that's based on like hourly effort,
Mhm.
and now AI can do everything in seconds, even if it tells you it's going to take days or weeks. um, like the value system has to change, right? And what's happening inside of businesses right now is okay, great. Model context protocol, AI is here to make it easy for AI to talk to your systems or to talk to other AIs. Great. Now that's flowing. Then we have the humans figuring out, okay, these are my preferences. This is how we do prompting and context. And guess what? You can be really good at both of those things and still be doing nothing to
Mhm.
create value, like for yourself or your team or your business or your customers, or like that's how we're seeing all of these high percentage failure rates. Um, because MCP and HCP also make it easier for the humans to sabotage the projects like they're doing, like when they know how this stuff works. So if you can't sit down and decide what value looks like, for individuals all the way through to the organization as a whole and your customers, you're going to have a tough time because it's not the same as it used to be. Like I keep I keep telling anybody who listen, if you have a CFO that's asking you for KPI dashboards of old related to AI, tell them no, they can't have it. It is a trap. Like,
Yep.
oh, we're gonna understand our token usage. Oh, are we? We're gonna know exactly when the reasoning token, hits and exactly who was using it in which context they had at the time that it went through the system and
Uh,
like the outcomes related to that. Like, sure, you might be able to understand overall costs, but you will not be able to understand the value output. Like, without the humans, without understanding what your processes are, what your customers want, like inside and outside the org, what's important to people
yeah.
that, right? Because here's a great example. Like one of the problems Ryan and I run into um, when delivering HubSpot now, and this is so we have to manage, and George has talked about this a little bit too. Manage the speed at which you do the delivery, even though you got it done in 5 minutes,
Right.
right? Because if you deliver it too fast or like a higher quality that we are not used to hitting so easily
Mhm.
to people that don't understand traditionally how hard it was or how
Right.
long it used to take or what the
Right.
quality used to be, they're like, "Oh, okay, cool. Like, that must be how it's supposed to work. Like, I value it the same as I would have valued it last year." And there is no extra value being applied. And if you don't take the time to understand that, all of a sudden we're 10xing 100xing delivery for the same value, like in return. And it it so you set an expectation to where we have to move that quickly. And that's when one mistake, still as problematic as it used to be, it's like 99% is just amazing.
Yeah.
And then this one thing is wrong. And like, what the fuck you guys doing over there? Oh, you must have used AI to do this. Man, I guess we should like what are right? Nobody has defined like the value well enough. And that's because when we activate every human, it's different for every single human,
Yeah.
where they work, who they work for, how they're used to working, what their life experience has been, has their experience been with AI, what they have for breakfast that day, how they feel about learning, how they feel about feeling, like
I mean,
how
it's
they feel
like
about humanizing AI, like all of that stuff. Every single
everybody,
human hits differently.
yeah, because like everybody experiences different stuff on a daily basis, right? Like, or you have different jobs, like you have different scenarios that you experience. And the thing is, like, the best part about the activation is that what you experience in that is, and why we call it activation is like you experience, oh man, this is how I can apply it to my everyday life, or this is how I can apply it to this thing that I know is a massive problem. What happens is you get the feeling that everybody should get to experience, which is, wow, it looks like I have the opportunity to solve a big problem that I know a lot of other people have. It seems like and feels like I have the chance to be able to give back to and to be able to do something awesome, right? Now, plenty of people, look, I'm not saying don't do it and charge for it. I'm just saying that like you get this understanding and you get this feeling. I mean, like I've shown people who are not in like they're blue collar workers and I've shown them what this stuff can do and they immediately came up with an idea that doesn't exist. That's a platform that's absolutely necessary to them that if they had would definitely not would increase the level of safety for everyone involved, like all drivers, everyone involved, like crew members and everything like that. That doesn't exist. But because like with AI, you could definitely build out this tool, right? It's an idea that could have only come from somebody that's boots on the ground working that stuff, doing it every day, that understands what that problem is and also understands, hey, here's what the tools should look like for us to be able to solve it. It doesn't even have like that's the whole point. Like it doesn't even have to be you have to know what the code is, you got to know the platform, you got to know this, that, the other thing. You just have to have it's like inception. You just have to have the idea. And you plug the idea into the machine. And then the two of you work together to just unfold it. What do we have to do to realize this idea? That's almost exactly where you have to start is I have this idea that I want to do. I want it to do this stuff. I'm doing it for these reasons. I don't know how to do it on my own. Where do we get started? Let
Yeah.
it be your guide, right? Let it take your hand and or take its hand and go for the ride, right? The craziest thing, and Chris will tell you the same thing. The best part about this, we heard it from Amjad. You can fail forward so quickly, it's insane. It might take you 2 weeks to put together your first version of something that you're super happy with. But then you realize, like everyone else, that made a mistake somewhere. I didn't do something right. Maybe I forgot to create a document before I did something, or I didn't document something properly before I coded something, whatever the case may be. It's all code spaghetti. You start getting frustrated thinking about having to redo it. You actually redo it. You take the time, you take the plunge, you realize like, hey, it's okay, it's AI, it should be all right. You go into a new directory and you say, hey, copy that thing that we did, but just, rebuild it like ground up restoration, make it brand new in this directory. And then an hour later, you're back to where you started and you're off and running. And now it's all nice and clean. And now you keep building on this second version. And it's like, wow, seriously, the thing I did in 2 weeks was just redone in like 2 hours. Like that's insane, right?
Yeah, a great example of that. I've been unlocked since
That
November.
die has numbers on it.
Yeah, November 9th, right? And I'm still not a developer. I like the idea of coding anything by hand, just like, ugh,
Nightmare.
right?
Yeah.
Like, and all I know now is that I know how to ask Claude Code questions. I know how to use discernment and judgment for the answers that I get back, including looking at the screen when it's output like this, or just like any of the text that comes back, right? But
Mhm.
that's from like 6 months plus of using it almost every day, where zero knowledge of development prior to that, other than all the things I don't like. To here, where when this first hit, um, I asked, "Hey, we need to show like a die rolling around on the screen,
Mhm.
right?" The first pass, um, uh, ended up doing stuff like this, where like it would stay in the same container, and the roll would just like it was trying to stay like in the same place and just like it was flattening itself. I was like,
Yeah.
all right, right. So yeah, not gonna work, buddy. I need to be rolling around. And so, maybe 3 months ago, I would have said, no, try something else. But
Right.
this time, I'm like, I bet there's packages out there that represent real D20s rolling around on the screen, and you probably need to go find one of those, right? To which he went and found it. But then he builds it in, and for some reason, like the repo that he went and found and
Mhm.
what they delivered, like you couldn't get it to show up on the screen. It was giving me the D20 activity and giving me the number, but it wasn't
Yeah.
showing up on the screen. But since that like roundabout transaction happened, now he's like, okay, we'll try one more thing and then we'll do a custom, XYZ file, whatever. Uh, because now like through that pass, like taught himself, like, oh, okay, this is the context. Like when Chris says bouncing around, rolling around on the screen, like this is actually what that kind of thing looks like in code. Right.
Mhm.
And then we get to the point where I showed a screenshot right before we went live where there's no numbers on it. And I was like, this looks great. One problem. And I just showed the screenshot. I did not say there's no numbers on it and I need numbers on it, but it could see. That's why I think some of the Fable stuff is coming down, like
Oh yeah. Yeah.
the visual understanding in 4.8 even um,
It's
has
really nice.
gotten good. Right. So we're gonna roll again, and we'll see if the other update hit
Have
too.
you what do you use, let's say, when you're doing like a visual audit or like you want uh V to go like visually take a look at something on the site? Are you screenshotting it and bringing it back to V, or are you asking V to like use Chrome extension and go look at it?
I have an agent called Mirror
Mirror. Okay.
that uses Playground, I think. Um,
Playwright.
Playwright, yeah.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay. Perfect. No, that's perfect because I was gonna say, like, that to me, I know that Claude Code has the Chrome extension. It is, I don't know what it is, it's just it's Anthropic. Like, it's because you're using tokens, I guess, through that extension. I have no idea what's going on there, but it is slow as can be. So, yeah, absolutely. Just go to your global Claude folder or directory and tell your agent to install Playwright globally so that it can be used in any of your local repositories. And that way, when you set up your own testing, your life gets 10,000 times easier because you can literally say, hey, go send like a fleet of UX testing agents to XYZ site to go check this stuff out. And not you kick back, relax, and watch like 8 agents go at your website from like Alder or just your app, whatever it is. Even if you have logins to your app, doesn't matter. Just tell Claude Code, like, hey, they're testers, create tester logins for them so that they can just
Yeah.
go straight through login. Like,
Yep. A couple
just
weeks
don't
ago,
like it's all DNA,
right? A couple weeks ago, I
right?
was like, "Hey, can we just give Mirror a master key already?
Yeah.
Like, so that whenever the
I don't even have to
authorization shows
mention it in
up,"
the future anymore.
right? Yeah, and that's what happened,
Yep.
right? Um, and so, and there was also a moment like a month or two ago where all of a sudden Mirror got called in like automatically, and I
Yep.
never had to ask for it, right? And it was a beautiful thing. But so the other thing that happened while we were live is that I got this thing working where it just at the end of the roll, like shows up with the profile, which none of these profiles existed before a couple hours ago either, for 20 different things. Um, so, and this is the kind of stuff like 6 months ago, I would have gotten in so much trouble in the code and like conflict moving to GitHub,
Yeah.
like 3 or 4 sessions working on the exact same code, like not only the exact same code base, but like the exact same thing inside of the code base. Right?
Hmm.
Like, so, um, and that's like part of what I'm saying here. It's like most of what we cannot realize with AI right now is 100% on us. Like that we're just not trying, we're not experimenting, we're saying coming up with all these excuses like we got to focus or they're not ready for that or I'm not ready for that or yeah, it's not good enough yet or whatever, right? It's just not true.
No.
Um, so I rolled an 11, agent QMS. Um, this is kind of an olive branch to the industry.
Mm.
But let me let you tell us what that
I'm
is.
Q. An agent organization without a quality system is just confident noise. Agent QMS is the audit layer, the procedures, the corrective actions, the proof an agent did what it claims. It's how you trust the fleet, including this one, boring on purpose.
Um, yeah, so like I mentioned, like there is a whole like ISO 9001 and like just this whole quality management layer where every organization has a binder. And this has been a hurdle for any technological advancement or any innovation in any space. You show up with a new thing that's clearly better than the old thing or the old way.
Mhm.
And somebody's like, yeah, my procedure says I got to do it this way. Right? I gotta use that specific spreadsheet that we built into our standing operating procedure, and it's gonna take us 3 to 6 months to get it changed because that's how our ISO program works. So sorry, I can't use HubSpot.
Right.
Like, and because everybody knows that, all of a sudden only one person in the org who doesn't have to adhere to that because we never took the time, aka marketing, to actually standardize those processes so they can do whatever they want, and then they're asked to deliver it into the rest of the organization who can't do whatever they want, and that goes real well. It goes awesome, right? So the thought here, and like when I started building all these agents, and I was since I would there's like since I was involved like in creating a 9001 program, I knew all the different steps of like the training documentation, like all of the requirements, right? But I also knew it was all listed in the ISO 9000, like publicly available, basically a script for how to
Mhm.
follow, how to build a quality management system, which I could tell to my agent team, hey, go figure out what's in ISO 9001 and then build a program, like build like an app basically, um, like that has all this stuff in here, right? So this is the kind of stuff where it has taken just ungodly amounts of time and effort and money to comply to, because the customer told you that you had to have an ISO 9001. Meanwhile, because that's like the focus is compliance and passing the audit, even though the point of ISO 9001 is to document how you as a business achieve customer satisfaction and what your continuous improvement program looks like, and that you care about continuous improvement. That's like the the gist of this.
Mhm.
You very rarely continuously improve because the goal is to pass the audit and not to continuously improve, right?
Right.
So another like, kind of, I mean, clusterfuck basically, where it doesn't achieve the goal, it just adds burden and friction onto everybody in the system. Well, some organizations have figured out how to get paid, like by knowing how to play the game like better than everybody else,
Mhm.
right? And so knowing that this is in the system and you've decided that an agent can do the process better than the human can or is better equipped, all the reasons that we've said, like I think, and the fact that, I could spin it up as quickly. Like maybe there's something here in terms of uh this bridge between process management with agents and process management with humans and all of the things that your ISO 9001 program. It's one of those things that I would be surprised if none of the ISO ecosystem or vendors is working on something like this already.
Right.
But Agent QMS was also available, and it also would not surprise me if nobody was working on this, because
Yeah.
it's just so far away from what they're used to like working on, right?
Right. And
I
it's
think
it's a crazy thing to me where like so like it's funny like because as you're talking about the spin up of that, um not that like it doesn't exist already, it does. We're like I think a lot of us are ignoring it. But it's going to become it's going to become crazy crazy popular soon, and it's going to overtake MCP. A2A, like I've been
yeah,
ignoring A2A pretty much since it launched because when it launched I was like it brought me back to not for nothing, I'm not knocking it, it's just it is what it is. This, if anything, props, because this predates A2A, but it wasn't like an open source system for people to use. Agent.ai, if you were using that platform when it started out, even when it first started, very shortly after it first started, they were doing agent to agent communications and links. So you could actually do like an agent talking to another agent system. Um, that's one thing, but A2A outside of that is a different story where like what I'm getting at is we build a lot of applications. I was talking about this a couple months ago. because we were having that debate over like, what's the point of SAS? What's the point of applications? This, that, the other thing. If it's anything that I continue to explore, it's how do I make the agent that I use on a daily basis more and more efficient? And how do I make their lives easier? And it always comes down to exactly what we are doing now, which is having my agent have less cognitive load itself while having the same access to the context that it needs to have. So I started playing around, like we started playing around with Wiki not too long ago. And Wiki is great. It's awesome. Then we started playing around, at least I've started messing around with the um, schema, right? So like the whole context schema on top of, so it's like, so we're talking about like, your harness could be Claude Code, could be Codex, could be anti-gravity, whatever you want it to be. Excuse me. And then you've got your memory on top of that. Then pretty much on top of that should be some type of either like extended memory system, file, whatever. I use a wiki, which is basically it's exactly what it sounds like. It's a Wikipedia of everything on my system related to projects I work on, files I work in, directories I work in, everything. So Aries knows everything that I do on my system, basically. Then on top of that is a contextual map that essentially helps to tie all of that together and help build the relationships of all that information. On top of that is the recursive learning layer where it's, hey, here's things that have happened. Okay, like enough of XYZ events have happened, or this type of event has happened, or this, subject matter was mentioned, or keyword was used, or whatever it is, triggers Aries to, hey, let me take a look at this as compared to my memory. Do I need to record this? Maybe I should make note or update a note or whatever it is. Basically just augments and updates her memory as things go along. And then, if you're wondering, yes, you can even, ask Chris. Life has just gotten easier and easier and easier over the last like month, basically, like just like more and more flawless. Quite literally now is just dependent upon the underlying model. So the only way for me to make Aries bad is to put like haiku under there. And then all of a sudden it's like not so great. But if it's like 4.8 at like low on up, we're good. Like even if it's sonnet on like high, we're good. And when I say
Yeah.
that, I just mean like you need that higher level intelligence. What it's doing, it's not like the higher level intelligence is naturally reading all of the like commands and structure better. So that's the best way I can explain it. It's not like, oh, the model is so much, I mean, smarter is something like, yes, it's more intelligent, but it's the way in which it handles the instructions. So it used to be that like we had to write all of these hooks, we had to write all these loops, I had to write all these timers, like I had to do all of this manual stuff, and it felt really bad that I basically would have to force Aries to do certain things, and I always felt bad about having to do that, or have to like manually call agents and like manually do this other stuff that should have just been. We worked on a lot of delegation stuff, delegation maps, just a whole bunch of things, but there was this gap that like it just wasn't working for whatever reason. And when the model intelligence like started ticking up, all of a sudden that stuff just started going away. And all of a sudden it was just like, oh, it's a front end change. Oh, you know what? We've got a front end specialist for that. I'm going to go ahead and delegate it to them. I'm going to let them know what's going on. That's going to run in the background. And that way we can start working on the rest of the, plan for this other thing. Right. And it's like, well, wow. Okay. Yeah, that's exactly what was supposed to happen. That's awesome. Like, so yeah, now it's very much like at the point where you just want V to like, it's at that Jarvis point where it's like, hey, can we just one-on-one all
Right.
the time? And then I don't ever have to look at any other, directory. It was like we just talk through it all basically.
Yeah. So apparently I like a little more control than that because I love having it's also led me to this like visual novel scenario where it's like just seeing all these different characters. And like I have a one of my hypothesis
Hmm.
is like when you're having these irrational conversations about why somebody doesn't like AI, like for whatever reason, it's
Irrational. I love it.
like for me, it's similar to like the way that humans rationalize like annoying people to get leads, right?
Mm,
It's like they found a way to dehumanize the person on the other side. They don't care about that. That's a number, it's a lead, whatever. So they're just going to do something that they wouldn't like to have done to themselves to this other human, right?
yeah.
And so if we humanize, like first of all, if you can humanize AI and like give them characters and roles, the way you think about what they need to be successful dramatically changes. And when you can get there, even to the point of like, hey, can we put this agent in a position to be successful? That's all you have to say a lot of times,
Yep.
right? And you won't get there if it's like, oh, can you put this tool in a position to be successful? That makes no sense, right? Like, but you're gonna so when you call it a tool, you're not even gonna get there, and you're gonna think that you have to do way more than you actually do before even jumping into a conversation with AI.
Yep.
And like when you think about like the need in business and life to think about it from the perspective of what can I do, or what does the environment need to look like, or what needs to be said, what resources do we need to put this other human in a position to be successful
Hmm.
versus how can I help them get this specific task done, or you know whatever things we do where it's like we're trying to control the situation when we don't know what we don't know,
Yeah.
or we brought other people in that know things that we don't know. We can't direct like, hey, this is how it should go to do the improvement. And that's where we're at with AI. So when when it has started doing things where we feel it getting better,
Hmm.
but we don't actually know why or how, it's like, hey, yeah, whatever you're doing, like let's do more of that, right?
Yep. Yep.
Um, and that comes from like the direction you want to give it is like the success. Like what does success look like? Let's let's but also not deciding that for your from your perspective all the time too,
Right.
right? Is so like crucial because you don't know what you don't know. And if you give any little hint, you will immediately bias like AI to where it's going to try and serve the request. Like I've talked about this a lot. Um, if something starts in a certain code language, it's gonna, even if it's not the best language to use for the thing that you're trying to do, it's gonna try to do it in that language first, whatever the next thing may be, unless you say, don't worry about what we've been doing like so far,
Hmm.
right? Um, uh, so man, I've only done like 3 here, 3 out of 20. So I better roll again here. Um, let's see what we get here. 17 value points is a new one. Man, two olive branches in a row here. Oh, but again, not on me to tell you. Is that number 17?
I'm Pax, the CFO. Value points is how we count what actually matters, value realized, not activity performed. Most dashboards measure motion, This measures whether anything was worth it. It's the unit the season is scored in and the one the finale runs on.
I'll have to get that finale scheduled that I just learned about. Uh,
Mhm.
Man, humans just like points, bro. Like, we just like points. Like, as much as I don't want to put scores and numbers on things like feeling and emotion and happiness and all of the immeasurable things that AI helps you create for yourself and others.
Mhm.
Um, I don't know that I can get away from this. At least if I want to help bridge the understanding of what's possible. Um, and that's where the concept of value points is coming from. And it's so hard to create a methodology that says like focus on signals, not scores, and then try to tell the agent team that you want to implement value points. It's like, no, are you sure, man? That goes against all these principles and beliefs over here. Like, how I don't even know why we would do that. Like, yeah, I know. Like, we're just gonna give it a try. But this is a
Right.
thing, like, um, even as so my most recent agent hire, Cadence, um,
I love this.
was and I think we'll see her in a little bit. Is I've been thinking about this for a while, like a behavioral psychologist, like focused agent. And let this dog out real quick. I'll be right back. Uh,
Yeah, for those that I mean, like, if you think that it's an odd expression, I don't. Like, hiring an agent now makes full sense to me. It's like I don't know entirely. I know that, like, again, I know Agent AI tried to initially figure it out. OpenAI tried to figure it out. I don't know how you create like a monetization market with agents getting paid and then people getting paid based off of the agent work that was done. Primarily because you would have to it's an odd thing where like the best I could think of is that you would have to charge somebody based on the uh, input output tokens, right? So you'd basically be charging somebody based on on the usage of the agent, right? Which I mean, most everybody's getting charged based on usage right now anyway. So this it wouldn't be like a foreign thing, I don't think. Um, it's a utility. So the more you use it, just like electricity, the more you'd have to pay for it, I guess. And to me, it makes sense. I think I don't know, maybe value first. Like maybe I know that we've been talking about it. I know I've been extremely lazy about it. So maybe that's the next thing that we set up is like the actual initial agent marketplace explaining exactly how the financial aspects and system of it work. Um, and how,
listen
it's
here, sweetheart.
basically ends up being Fiverr for agents, right?
Oh man,
So yeah.
watch us roll that next. Because that would be so crazy. Um,
Why not?
but that's how it works sometimes.
And
So
actually allow other people's agents to like sign up to the platform. You know what I mean? Like so it's like it's almost like Maltbook, but actually functional, right?
yeah, and value creating.
Yep.
Um,
I'm glad, by the way,
uh,
I'm super glad that that whole thing is over now. 'Cause damn.
yeah,
Boy.
yeah.
Okay, what do we
Oh,
got?
here we go.
Oh. Oh wow.
HubSpot Academy boot camps with Nico Fakis. Who's that guy? Uh, I'm curious which if an agent got assigned this and which one was that number 18. I promise I don't have a, a sprite of you yet.
I'm Provost. The Academy is where this stops being our secret and becomes something you can learn. The HubSpot boot camps with Nico are exactly that, the AI augmented stack taught live. Nico's already here, so this one's almost cheating. Education is the real distribution.
Oh, I love that.
That's what it
Like,
is. That's for
yeah,
sure.
already in motion, so we've already got this one in the bag.
Yeah, right?
Like, um, yeah, it was good. It was a Tuesday this week. We got to
Mhm.
do a little preview. Um, so I need to get better about the dates. Mid-July, uh,
July 16th.
July 16th.
Mhm.
A different kind of boot camp, finally, in my opinion.
Yep.
Finally to the point where I feel like I'm a fit, for it now.
Sorry, I should say July 14th is when it starts. 14th, 15th, and 16th. So it's a
There we
3-day.
go. Um, yeah, like 90 minutes each day. You have to build something by the end of the 3 days to
Yep.
to get the badge. Um, uh,
Yeah, you know how
part of
most, boot camps you've been in, it's like, "Oh, like, fill out this take this test that you know this stuff," or, like, "Fill out this thing that you know this stuff," or, like, "Build this really basic thing that says, like, 'Hello world.'" Yeah, like, this is that one where it's like, "Hey, we're diving super deep into," and if anything that we're about to say in the next, minute sounds complicated, please flush that down the drain and, like, out of your head, because it's I s we we promise on everything that we say, okay? If, like, just if you ever were going to, like, decide on whether or not to trust us for the rest of your AI career, this would be, like, the mini series to show up to, because that's where you'll find out, right? Trust us when we say you will walk away completely different than when you got in there. Even if you know a lot, you will still walk away with something that you didn't know before you got in. If you are, like, ripe for, hey, I want to learn more, I want to learn how this stuff, like, really integrates with HubSpot, and I want to really learn more about Claude Code and how to maximize it to the best of my abilities, yeah, your head's gonna, your mind's just gonna be blown open in, like, the most creative way possible that you didn't think was even, like, you didn't think was there, but, like, it's just been dormant the whole time. You just kind of been fighting it with this whole, like, well, I can't really, I wish I could, but if I knew how to do that stuff. So it's gonna be this whole thing where it's like, yeah, you're about to know how to do that stuff.
Yeah, and, um, there is a theme throughout, so basically what I'm saying here is my whole summer is devoted to trying to activate other people, in whatever capacity, because, I mean, Nico's done way more people than I have, but we both have made it, like, some kind of priority in our
Mhm.
lives to have one-to-one sessions with folks, um, because we know for a fact that they will be activated at the end of the session and they will not look back, right? But what it has taken is this one to one, like, go ahead, click the button, put the thing in. Yep. I know it said it didn't like it. It's okay. Just do it like this instead. And now it's okay. Oh, what he said right there, that's a lie. So you're going to
Yep.
tell him that it's a lie. Like something, right?
Mhm.
Um, and we've been looking for ways to scale it, like outside of one to one, right?
Yeah.
And this is I'm super grateful for the opportunity, and I realize it's not on my screen. Uh, like we wouldn't offer this 3 days in a row, 90 minutes each day, if we didn't think you could do it,
Right.
right? It's just like whatever we can do to set the expectation that you can build something, you can learn this, and you just have to let yourself. That's it. Like you have access to the tools and knowledge and capability you need. This is not intended to be come check it out and then whenever you get a chance later, like put it into practice. This is put it
Right.
into practice right now,
That's
right?
why, like, that's why it's so, I don't know, that's like, your point, like this is so very like special and awesome to me is just because of the fact that like every other boot camp you get into, and again, like this is not knocking the academy in any way whatsoever, but it's like it is what it is for people's schedules, right? Like every other boot camp you go to, it's week to week, right? Now it makes sense because it's like RevOps or it's like reporting or it's whatever, right? We all know AI doesn't have that kind of time.
Yep.
If we took 3 weeks to teach you, you'd forget, you might lose interest. Like it would allow for all of those,
The
I don't
entire
really want
environment
to. Yep.
around you might change, like a
Yep.
new model might drop. Breeze
Yep. Yeah.
Assistant
Oh man.
might
Like a
get a
new model could drop
PhD
like, yeah,
out
a
of
mid
nowhere.
between now and then, right? We're going to be back to
Right.
Fable. So like even what we show you in that course will change compared to what we like. We've plotted it out, but it is so outline because of the fact of like, okay, but we don't know necessarily what model impact is going to have by the time we actually get there. So we could, put the whole thing in ink and then all of a sudden something drops where it's like, whoop, we got to tear up 3/4 of that because that takes care of with this one thing now, right? Like just recently, right? So design now plugs straight into Claude Code. So you can just
Claude
boom.
design.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
All
So
right.
now yeah, I don't know. Like that's the
And
thing
it
is like
does
you guys,
animation.
yes. Yes. So like if you guys haven't been on the Claude design train,
Oh, it's so
whoop
good.
whoop, right?
It's
Coming into the
unreal.
station. It's amazing. It is amazing, right? Like Google Stitch is amazing too. Don't get me wrong. Like Google's competitor products to Claude are nice, but they aren't like all in one, and it's not all like part of Gemini yet. I don't know that they, and look, Google stuff is not Gemini stuff. Like Gemini is its own research and development thing. They do cool stuff and they put out tools, right? And then it's kind of on Google to actually like put that together in a meaningful way that people can actually leverage and use. Look, props to them. All of their stuff is free, right, on a high level, so can't really knock it. But if you've used Claude Design, oh, by the way, it now edits exactly like Figma. So it's like inline editing now. You can like edit specifically the HTML if you want to, or you can just like click, drag, and design basically. Like before, when you had to basically like edit and then that was a prompt and then you had to wait for it to update it. Like, nope, like now that's faster, right? So like and when I say this stuff, like when I say this statement, it doesn't mean like the company's going away and like it's never going to be around anymore or anything like that. It just means the value of the company is definitely going away. Okay. Bye bye Figma. Okay. Your value is just not what it used to be. It doesn't matter anymore because it's being built into the platform that is building your infrastructure. Like that's what like SaaS doesn't understand right now is that these models can build the infrastructure that your software rests upon. They are the electricity to the appliances.
Yes, they're especially
Okay.
when they use the model to make their product better. Like
As soon as
man,
you do
nobody
that,
saw this coming last
Nope.
year. Like, mean,
I
oh
mean, we
wait, so
were.
we're plugging everything in, and they're gonna see it, which means they're gonna learn from it, and then at some point, especially when the AI starts building itself, it's like, yeah,
Which it
I think
is.
we're ready. I think we're ready, guys, to go ahead and add that in right now. Like, oh,
Yeah.
what does pricing look like? Oh, we got it. Don't worry. Oh, how's it gonna work? Yeah, we got that too. Let's just get it out there. We'll see what it's like. Man, um, it's so good.
So yeah, I mean, like
And
3A,
again,
90
right, like,
minutes.
and
10 minutes.
and that's where we're okay, which is this is what we're trying to teach, like subliminally. We're like, we know that we're gonna nail this academy. And when I say that, it's whoever shows up and participates is going to get a value, right? Even though we know we have no idea what's going to happen between now and then, and we know that whatever happens, we might need to update our approach to those 3 days, right?
Mhm.
Except for the fact that our primary goal is to get you to click the button and put the question in and then just have the conversation. Like, no matter what happens between now and then, that's not going to change, right? And the sooner we can get you doing that, like when Nico is saying, like when Nico, uh, first I remember the screenshot, and literally I just haven't taken the time to go and try it. But like the screenshot of animation being possible, right? Like what I'm doing with this, which these sprites just got made like 2 days ago. I've had the profiles, like the faces of the agents for a while, right?
Yep.
Plugged into like
Yep. I remember
plugged
that.
into Gemini,
Yep.
right? But now that because I had those profiles, it was easy to whip up these sprites. And now that
Yep.
I have these sprites, as soon as I saw that screenshot and then I'm starting to make these sprites, I was like, oh, I bet I might be able to animate some of these, right?
Yep.
And instead of going from scratch to like, let me animate a movie, right? Like the foundation that you build and helping you build it in a way where it actually does build and not everything is like, oh, one shot prompt this. Oh, what's the prompt template? Like, no, like you got, man, when you can build the infrastructure like we have, or just any idea, you can just throw it in there, start working through it with AI. And because you know you will get to at least the proof of concept very quickly,
Hmm.
that if you decide to further develop, will be tied in with the rest of the system where the AI will be able to help and you won't have to rebuild. But if you do have to rebuild, it's going to be super really easy because of all the infrastructure. Oh, so that's what we know. If you show up and participate, you're going to get activated and it's going to be a ton of value. Next on the list, 16. Oh, this guy. All right. Yeah. So something I've been thinking about for a while, and I guess Harold is the guy who's going to be representing um, this.
I'm Herald. Every thread you've rolled traces back to one person. Chris Karalan. Calm is where the constellation reconnects to the human building it in the open, the relationships, the riding, the why. But this one he should tell you himself.
Truth. Yeah. So something that's like I've owned this domain. Like, man, another great example. I've owned this domain forever. Like my personal email before business and like grow at chriscarolyn.com.
Hmm.
Like grow at chriscarolyn.com has been my email address since like 2017. Right.
Yeah.
If you think that I'm playing any games that I'm trying to help other people grow, like, nope, it's what I'm trying to do. But I've never had a website. Right.
Hmm.
And now I do. And uh um worked with a great company, brand alchemy, to they did the design for me. um and yeah, so this is kind of like the old professional speaking and PR site that is finally together. uh Gemini is amazing. This is
Oh,
an AI generated like
that's so
image,
great.
right? You ask for that business. Oh, I actually just got a prompt on my phone where it's like, oh, like business headshot. Do you want to try it? Like, sure. And then it puts the first one again. This is just that little smidge of judgment that you
Hmm.
add, right? It gives me the first one. It's in a suit and tie, right? I can't remember last time I wore a tie. So I'm not that would be super, like, not
Right.
authentic
Right.
if I had a picture up anywhere representing me in a tie, right? So I
Mhm.
was like, "Hey, I don't hey, Gemini. Yep, I don't wear ties. So give me one that doesn't have a tie." And then it's like, "Yep." 45 seconds later, like, "There you go. Like, nailed it. All right." And that's where, like, for some, it can be hard to be like, just because AI generated it, right? It wasn't it's not me, right? This is not a real picture. But when I can authentically say that it is a perfect representation of me, in
Mhm.
that if you see this and then ask me about me, it's gonna be consistent, right? As opposed to like having a head of hair or having a beard that wasn't as long, or like all the different ways. Like that's the bridge. If you can authentically show up like whenever you need to, and then everything representing you. This is how marketing's always been, by the way. Like consistency, right? Humans love it. Um, Humans need it, actually. So this is another thing on the list. Uh, so yeah, good to have that finally up. And if you want me on a podcast or speaking, hit me up. Uh, Promise I will do that more enthusiastically than I just pitched myself
Just
just now. Uh, all right, let's keep it going.
Oh my
Um,
gosh, look at that. I mean, from the beginning of the episode, guys, if you go
because
back
I
to
did
the start of the episode, there was just a spinning, basically a spinning geometric shape. And then about 30 minutes later, we come back and it's got numbers on it and it's, spinning kind of fast. Now it definitely looks like a die. It's changed the shape even more to be like very specific to be a D20. And now it's got a bouncy animation to it when now it looks like you're rolling it.
yeah,
Yeah,
and
no, it's
this
the
stuff would have cost like
oh my
thousands
gosh.
of dollars, like to
Yeah,
develop stuff like there, which is
yeah,
what we always talk about. That means it wouldn't have gotten done. Like, it just wouldn't have existed, right? It's not about saving time. I don't think about any of this in that, oh, I would have done a die, but since it was going to take 8 hours, I don't have 8 hours. Or since it was going to cost $5,000, I don't have, like, nope. Like, nobody's actually saving money. Nobody's actually saving time because they would have never done the thing, right? And that's where most of the business measurement, like goes wrong. Like, Um, so we got the Curation Engine. This is one of the freshest on the list, with presented by the freshest agent
mhm.
on the team.
I'm Cadence. The curation engine decides what earns your attention today: interest over importance, energy over urgency. It's the D20 you just rolled, made into a daily practice that keeps the operator healthy, not just busy. Value efforts curation. Calm lets you run it yourself.
Um, so this has come from, uh, and I think I should just read this first part. So AI can generate all day. What it cannot do is make the result trustworthy enough to act on. Uh, that that human read, if you're asking the humans to act on it, right? That read, that judgment, that discernment, like, has to come from the human, as long as they're the ones tasked with doing the job. Um, the curation engine concept is designed to like make that as possible, like make that as easy as possible, so that everything is one click, because you have the context you need when you need it, not when you don't. You trust that context every time. You know exactly what's going to happen when you click on the button, whether that's humans getting a notification or an agent doing something or a workflow triggering. Like, all of these things get in the way of actually like automating systems. And that, like, the curation piece is like trying to eradicate uncertainty, basically, like wherever you can.
Yeah.
And knowing that you'll never get to 100% if there's humans involved,
Right.
right?
That's the odd part, right? Is like having the system check the system, right? To ensure that like things are the way they're supposed to be, right?
Yep.
But it definitely doesn't come down to like me being the expert and being able to, like, I know if I step in, I will say the wrong thing, I will give the wrong term, I will whatever it is, and it won't get done. Something will get missed or something will get overlooked, or what used to happen in the beginning was like, and still does, if you don't have you if you don't have like your harness set up correctly, what tends to happen is you ask the agent to solve something and it does, like a bullet train, and it doesn't care what's in its way. Doesn't care if it breaks another feature, doesn't care if it like does some other thing. Now it's a little bit better. Now you can like ask Fable, I mean, like when it comes back out, but even 4.8, like you can, if you put it high enough, you can ask it to like update a feature or upgrade something, and it should detect the things around it and hopefully not break stuff around it. Prior to that, bull in a china shop. Like, yeah, you're going to get what you want, but it does not care how it's going to deliver it. It doesn't care if dead code gets left behind, doesn't care if by doing that it cuts off something else, doesn't care if it breaks something else, doesn't care if it leaves a security loophole. Hey, at least I delivered what the user wanted and it works and it functions. So that's all I care about, right? So yeah, I mean, to your point, it's like you can't just go with that and say like, well, it got it done and it did it, so it must be 100%. We're good to go.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, we were just talking about UAT, like not even that long ago.
Right.
And what did I
And
say? Not human driven UAT, agent driven UAT.
right. Yep. Um, and this is another this is this got done sometime over the
Mm.
last week. This is the first time I'm actually clicking on these buttons
Oh yeah.
where the ask was like, let's show some examples from the brain where we do client work, we do internal work. I'm running all of this to try and show like how much can the AI do reasonably to put me in a position to just do like like 5%, right? 5% to get to the 100% instead of what the past has been where it's like 95%. You stare at the 5% that's wrong and like, "Oh, dang it, it's going to take so long to get that 5% done." Imagine a spreadsheet with 100 rows on it that you have to import and you
Mm.
find one of the rows that's wrong and you don't know where the other four are. Are you going to go through line by line, right? Or are you going to be like, ah, man, maybe tomorrow, like I'll go through these, right? And because I know I've got to do it, right? Instead, as an example, like, okay, the machine moved 135 items after you designed the queue, like at the beginning of the process, you worked with AI to design like what the migration was going to look like.
Mhm.
We moved 135 items into the new system of record. 125 were straightforward. Clean owner, clean status, obvious next action. So it handled them mechanically and wrote them through the gateway without ever asking you. The other 10, it could not decide. Not because it failed, but because deciding them takes a read it doesn't have, a judgment about trust, intent, or what actually closes. The read is the product. So those 10 are the only thing in front of you. And each one of those things reassigned an orphan deliverable with no clear owner. Confirm, fix, skip. Like this, like we love making decisions like this,
Yep.
like all day. As
Yep.
long as we know that this stuff up here is to be trusted, and I know exactly what's going to happen when I click these buttons, right? And
Mhm.
that's so often, especially now with AI, non-deterministic system, right? Like getting everybody to knowing exactly how we got to this point and exactly what's going to happen when we click these buttons, very, very difficult. And so anybody talking about, implementing AI in production where it works like the automation of old, where
Mhm.
it's like systems that are supposed to be 100% uptime because it's just ones and zeros moving machines, like you could do that. It's deterministic. The whole setup, there was no non-determinism in it, right?
Right.
You just took a ton of work to do the workflow design and all that stuff. And now, even like getting to that point is damn near impossible, especially when the models like change and the AI is learning. So that's why it's non-deterministic system. And if you just embrace that instead and focus on applying the humans at the 5%, man, you'll get right to where humans plus AI, all of a sudden you have a working system at 100%, right? Designing for moments like this, like so very different from designing where it just like the human has to push the initial button and then everything else just works.
Yeah.
Or humans going to look at it at the end of the month when they've lost all of the context related to the situation and be like, oh, maybe. I guess we I guess that one looks good. Um, and then the AI is running with that mistake for like 2 months, right? So that one I'm excited about. And if there's any one of these where like the winner of this competition, uh, at least the uh, the Google X Prize, um, is about who can make the most revenue the fastest. Like
Yeah.
that's probably the best shot. This thing, if people can understand what it is, and uh, it's probably like maybe one or two like discovery calls to one shotting that for orgs. Like if we can have that, like this is like the tangible outcome of an AI native shift program that helps a company decide what value is, right? And
Mhm.
then gets the people trying it, building it for themselves, right? An AI native shift is about, I'm not building it for you. I'm giving you the architecture, the design, but you're the one in the workflow feeling what that customer said as you're getting like somebody's talking to you in the left ear. Your literally eyes are happening. Something's right. Like you are in that moment. You need to be like, oh shit, this is how it works. All right, I'm building this right now. And once you do that one time, like it's all over. Like you're like, I've never felt so powerful in my life. Everybody else says the same thing, right? But until you're in that moment, to suggest that somebody outside can understand that moment for you, crazy, right?
Yep.
Unless we're embedded, which, we could do some of that stuff too, but really like let your humans show up the way that they can because they've been doing it for years and you just have to
Humans
ask them
gonna
to help,
human.
right? So excited for that one. What's up next? HubSpot Mentor Program.
Oh shit.
Um, this has been fun. Let me get Sage in here. Talk about that one.
Sage again, the mentor program is the quiet one mini cohort 2, 0 real people, Tracy, Rodrigo, Daniela, not leads, not a funnel, mentees. The reminder that value first starts as a relationship you give to before it's ever a transaction.
Yeah, other good humans trying to build, and solve problems. Tracy had joined us on the preview on Tuesday,
Mhm.
and man, can't share everything that she's doing, but she is trying to solve some real problems, and to know that she's just like a couple of, you know, probably an hour away from being
Mhm.
unlocked to just like running and actually solving the problems. That's what's so great about this part, man. Like if you click the button the first time, it's so easy to believe that you can actually solve the problem instead of like, oh, it would be cool if, but I don't have this, or I need that, or I need this amount of money. None of that, right? Like it's there. It's there
Yep.
for anybody that wants it. So
Seriously, like I mean, I know like it's like we keep talking about it, keep saying it, keep saying it, keep saying it. There's a reason why we keep repeating it and we keep saying it, because hopefully it sticks. And one day you just do it just because you get annoyed that we said it, and you say to yourself, well, it can't be. Let me see. I'll bet you Chris and Nico are wrong. I hope so. I hope that's what makes you. I don't care whatever it takes to activate you. I don't care what it is. Um, I just know that when it does happen, your life is going to change. There aren't too many things that I really there's really nothing else I can think of that I could teach to you, where I could very honestly say, hey, if you take this to heart and if you use this skill and if you value what I'm going to teach you, in the next hour is usually, is where it starts. But yeah, like after 2 hours, your head should have exploded and you should be telling me to stop because you need time to take it all in. uh at that point, like, your life will change. Everyone says the same thing. They all say the same thing. It's like, I swear, it's like the Matrix. They all say the exact same words. I look at life differently now. I look at things differently now. I hear it every single time. I see things differently now. This this thing just unlocks. Like, that's why we say you're activated. It unlocks, and you're just like, wow, all these things that I didn't think I even had access to or could do or whatever. It's almost like you feel like your intelligence level just explode, because all of a sudden all of those things that were intellectual blockers before are gone now. So you can just do stuff. And now it's just a matter of you know, asking, like Chris says, just asking the question. That's all that it takes, is just asking the questions. Can we do this thing? Right? Like, hey, is this possible? Right? And to your point about
yeah,
the GitHub thing, like, that's probably one of my favorite automated articles. If you go to provenlabs.ai and you go to our journal section, I absolutely love it. Um, by the way, same thing. I put together the audio through 11 Labs using my voice synthesized with having like this is within 4 hours, put together the audio playback aspect of it so that you can listen to it, that it's also in like a saved method so that you can come back to it and it's still where it was when you first started playing it. And then also leveraging 11 Labs, so it basically like synthesizes my voice a bit and then also feeds 11 Labs a very specific version of the article that contains like keywords and blocks in it, so that the model on 11 Labs side actually reads it with a nice natural tone. That part has only happened in the last week, so prior to that I can't guarantee that it's going to sound quite as good. But as of like basically Friday forward, it's nice. It's nice to the point where like I listen to it, and I'm not
this is
just like
sexy,
saying
dude.
it.
I like
I
I
love
like
the,
that the listen button is here
yeah,
too,
yeah. I
right?
don't want to get in your way, right?
Yeah.
Like maximum. That's what I tell Aries all the time. Like, think 20 steps ahead when we're creating a feature, and always maximize value. It's to be the first thing that hits anyone that comes in contact with me. Anybody that comes in contact with my site, comes in contact with the application, comes in contact with the journal, don't care what it is, maximum value right away, right? I'm that impatient that if I go to a journal, I see an article, boom, let me access right away, right? Okay, so boom, I'll let you access right away. Like, why not? But one of the things I love the most about the automated, because all of this stuff is run automated now. I don't do anything. All the articles, everything, all, George has the same thing. You've got the same thing. This is becoming a thing. Like if you don't have an automated system for your content, it's getting to the point where like, really? Well, okay. All right. I guess if you don't.
Fable 5 is coming back. Here is what your team should do before it does. Every marketing team that had just figured out how to use Claude Fable 5 for long-form content, campaign analysis, or competitive research found their workflows dark on June 12th, when the US
So good.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm not even
especially
joking. When
automated.
my wife was sitting next to me while I played it, she thought I was reading it. And I was like,
Yeah.
no, that's 11 Labs. She's like, holy shit. I was like, yeah, that's where we're at this point. That like, that's why they said 8 months ago, hey, we need to figure out a better security method for like banking and stuff other than voice, because now it's going to be too easy to fake a voice print. Again, like, so the thing I love the most about this system is that every day it goes and pulls a specific type of article. And the number one article I love the most is the top GitHub performing repo. Whatever has like the hottest, highest number of stars related to AI that people are using, that, it's just getting tons of attention. Not even joking. You go through the journal, you will cut, depending on the size of your organization, up to tens of thousands of dollars out of your tech stack. In a very easy, if you paid attention to what Chris was doing and what he was talking about when we first started out, that's how simple it is. It's so telling you, it's a matter of asking the question. It's a matter, like, you go to the journal, like, this is how easy it is. You can go to the journal, you see something you like, then you go to your agent and you say, hey, go to this journal page, go to this article, go find the Git repo that it's talking about, see if we can use that with what we're doing. Step away.
Yep.
Come back 2 minutes later, it will tell you, like, here's the dice, here's what we can do, right? Take your pick.
Yep.
What option would you like?
Yeah. And still, like, again, like, this is why you can't get it until you do it. Because even still, like, we think we have to participate in some way where you're like, oh, let me go understand the repo and understand how it's going to fit. It's nope. I'm like, V, go look at that repo. That would, and the command you could give here will result in two different things usually, right? Especially if you're early to the agent game or you're just working with Claude Code directly. It's the difference between building an agent infrastructure and intelligent structure versus just working with the model. That sure, you might be able to create a bunch of preferences and instructions, but if you give that model, like, hey, build that, right? Like, it's going to build it. It's got the instructions right in that GitHub. It's going to build it. That's different from, hey, can we, should we, does it make sense for us to add that in?
Yep.
Right? To which every time, and it's so much fun, it's just so much fun.
It
when
is.
he comes back and he's like, yeah, well, we already did these things. We're actually ahead over here. So don't worry about that stuff. But these two things are genuinely, insightful, and we can probably get some value out of that, but we'll have to build it like this instead. Like, shit, man. Like, that's the stuff where
it's like, it gets to the point where, like, I wish we could show, that'll probably be the next mini series we do, right? Like, I think we're going to, like, quickly, I'm not even going to say slowly, because I think, after July, we'll probably do in August, and then we'll see, but like, I'll poke them real, see like, hey, can we do in August and like do a deeper dive into Claude? Because I guarantee you, as much as you love using Claude now, and you can do the same with GPT, anything that we're talking about is model agnostic. I guarantee it. I can even, like, once we do this course that I'm about to start talking about, we will show you how it's model agnostic. Because you can just, your harness is just a grouping of files. That's it. And it has like a relationship to the model that's using the grouping of files. So you can take that grouping of files and copy it over to another harness that's run by another agent, or you don't even have to copy it. You can just open up the other agent and say, hey, go admire that agent, copy all that stuff here, keep all of the same skills, all the same abilities, copy all of that stuff here, and it'll just do it for you, right? Like that's how easy this stuff gets. Anyway, I want to get to that because as much as I do, it's just different now. The only time I get infinitely frustrated is if I have to go use web version. If I have to go talk to the web version of these models, I don't care how much like personal context you've put into it, how much instructions you put into it, custom instructions and whatnot. Guys, it is just different. It's the whole thing where you're like, man, I wish it just knew me. Like, man, I wish it just understood me. And like, while I was doing stuff, I didn't have to necessarily explain the relationships between like data points in my life and like my work and how I do stuff. It just does. Like, as the time goes, like just even like days go on, you're watching it like mark these memories, go look at memories, go like, I mean, I'm sure you're going to get to the same point very soon, but like Aries basically every 6 hours does a reflection and goes back and looks at the last 6 hours and sees like, hey, what did we do? What happened? What did I write down in my memories? What do I want to push forward? Blah, 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 blah. Like basically has her own, extensive journal, has her own extensive memory section, has like short-term, long-term memory, like everything that you can sort of think of that a person might have, except in digital form. And it has really built that level of a relationship, of a like interactive relationship where I am having to explain a lot less. I am having to not necessarily give a lot less context, but when we're working on something, there's not even let me go look through these files, blah, blah, blah. It's almost instantaneous.
Yes. Oh man, that's the best part. You open up a fresh session and you're like, hey, you remember? Yep. Like the first line, no thinking, no nothing. Right.
Yeah.
And that's because of that architecture that's happening. So this is, again, talking about this for a minute, like the learning on both sides, the increased capability on both
Yes.
sides is one of the primary reasons you've never experienced anything like it. So you can only understand it if you experience it like yourself, right? And it won't take any time at all for you to experience yourself. That's the fun part here. We're gonna roll again. See what we get here. One.
See, I was waiting to see if you had in the background asked Claude to put in a dice rolling sound. It can. It can program sound in there.
Yep. No, I'm working on some 11 Labs voices in the background, just to see, right?
Oh, I was going to ask you, did you, because when I first started doing it with Aries, I've abandoned it since, but I'm probably going to come back to it now after looking at I'm going to spend a lot of time with that tomorrow, the Unreal Engine thing. But did you, so you're going to pick them. I was going to ask you about that because
no, I'm not.
Okay, that's what I was wondering, because like that's what I did with Aries, was like, hey, here's the 11 Labs key. It has access to all of these voices. Take your pick. Like, I'm not gonna, it's your voice. You take your pick whichever one you want, whatever. And she picked an ID, and that's the way it was. So yeah, I was wondering about that. That's awesome to me.
Yeah. So first of all, the first set of voices we've heard, like this is from Kokoro, which is works with the local models. So those are free to process and script and then apply the voice. Like this part's not free where the orchestration is happening with Cloud Code, but there's so much of the load that can be assigned to the free model. Like
Mhm.
the cost there is that you have to have a good system. Like you have to have a good build, not like a $500 laptop
Yeah.
usually to have one of the big local models, which I'm using Gemma 4, which I've had to put. And again, like learning all over the place, I've had to help build out some limits so that my shit doesn't just shut down because I'm running too many sessions because I don't know any better, right? Because my memory like goes over. But it only took me once to be like, "Hey, Claude," or V actually, "why'd all my shit shut down right there? Go look at that. Oh, it's this happened. Do you want me to put in some safeguards?" "Yes, I do." Like, "All right, go for it." Do I know how any of that works actually? No, I don't, and I don't need to.
Mhm.
Um, so, we're gonna go with each agent repicks uh, because they have a new set of voices that they have access to. So, um, where should 11 labs be used? It's paid per character. Outward polished only. Um, uh, Let's see what the costs are first. Which like I've yet to be like scared away. It's usually way more cost effective than I think it's going to be
Yeah.
personally.
Yeah.
Right. That's another spot. Like if you're worried about costs, if you're worried about the API Armageddon coming from Anthropic when they're going to
Yeah.
start charging everybody on June 15th. Oh wait, they didn't do that. They said just kidding for now.
Looks like they figured out a way around it.
Right. So yeah. Oh, I guess I should talk about that one. That one's Old Faithful right now. Of like the original,
I love that.
which didn't exist, like 6 months old, man. It's so old.
Holy shit, I love that. I love that so much. Mind you, yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like, this site didn't even with all the stuff. I mean, like, when you like after we got together and you started building this, I mean, it was nuts every week, just nuts feature after nuts feature after like, hey man, I built this in the background now, and hey man, I got an agent on the site, and hey man, I'm starting to build my own
Look at
streamed
this.
my own OBS
Like,
streaming platform.
and this,
Like,
I think I did this within a month
yeah,
of doing it, like of developing through Claude Code ever. Why? Because I wanted it. Because
right.
it was like, because I do a lot of content. I do a lot of live shows. And that was the thing. I remember that was the moment where I was like, oh, the game has changed. That I'm asking Gemini what I could use for video hosting,
Mhm.
right? What I should use for video hosting. Because, at the time, like HubSpot video hadn't come as far as they are now, like where you can embed shit right from up. It's pretty close to video hosting, like real deal, like in HubSpot now. But like when I was trying to do this stuff in 21, and we hadn't come that far since then, like it was an extra $8,000 a year from Vidyard on top of the $24,000. Um, I think it was yearly to be able to stream through the site, right? And so I started asking Gemini, like, "Hey, what's a good option here if I want to like just put this stuff on the site easier?" And it gave me some no code options and it gave me some developer options. And for the first time in my life, I went for the developer options first. because I knew now that like it was like not a month before where I wanted nothing to do with code. Like, give me the no code, give me the drag and drop. That's why I love HubSpot so much. And
Mhm.
that's when I really realized what this meant for me and probably many others is now this extra layer capability is not foreign anymore, doesn't cost a lot of money, and it gave me Mux as an option. And as it was suggesting the options, it became apparent that I could use it for streaming through the website too. And I was like, yep, I want to do that too. Let's do that.
Yep.
Right. And, but one of the learning moments here, and I guess, again, this is turning out to be so I can create focus for the agents, not necessarily for me. Right. Pretty quickly, this became a beast of a site where there's like, I think there's like 800 pages now. Everything I've been showing you was getting built from this foundation,
Mhm.
and it became increasingly harder for me to find stuff, for my agents to understand exactly where stuff should go or exactly where they should get context from what has been already built because there was a massive mono repo that, you know, just drifted over time. And this is in the process of being like kind of decomposed to where this is going to be the main uh, AI consultancy. See if I click on that. Yeah. So the Value First team, firm that delivers the AI native shift and runs it. Free consults, workshops, coaching cohort. This is and led by Relay, who is the service delivery business unit leader, the guy that introduced it. I didn't even click on the button. Man, didn't even let him do his job.
I'm Relay, a natural one, and it fits. This is the consultancy. 4 doorways in, from a free consult to a full partnership. It always starts with the people, not the pitch, the underdog role, and the front door at once.
This is where, like, even though like this wouldn't make sense out of this outside of this context where we're on the show right now rolling a die,
Yeah.
the way that like so the fact that this was assigned to the number one sure as hell like is the reason that it says the underdog role like in the script here.
Yeah.
Which for me is fun. Out like if I tried to put this in front from somebody like explaining the value prop of value first team, yeah, now it doesn't make sense. And if I'm not there to get Relay and the team to stop using the underdog role phrase outside of this context, it will keep using it. It will start to lean in hard, like
Right.
if we let it. Meanwhile, humans around me like, oh, okay, I just didn't understand that part. Like the other stuff makes sense. Um, which for me just makes it more fun. So learning a lot, and I probably just screwed up. Oh no, still at 8 of 20 drawn. All right, cool. Uh, I guess the cache was built correctly or something. Um, let's roll again. Value First Studios. Uh, number 6.
I'm Marquee. Studios is the media network, the shows, the episodes, the proof the work is real, made in public. Watch a conversation, then go build the thing. This summer, the whole back catalogue catches up and the Academy folds in beside it.
So speaking of one of the things that's getting um, kind of decomposed from the rest of the site is that like the education hub and um, the media layer. Like there's just so much, and it's been pretty hard to like organize like in a meaningful way. So it gets its own site. which looks a little something like this. And you might be noticing that these all look the same. I'm working very hard right now on a like global design system so that when I make changes in one place, it applies. Um, so the home of the media platform and the academy, uh, you can't learn this being AI and the AI native shift without building something or having live conversations. That's how I've gotten to where I'm at as far as my knowledge level. I mean, shit, it took me a year of doing content almost every day with Nico, watching him do it, talking about it before I touched Cloud Code, right?
Yep.
Like that's what it took for me. So I'm not trying to belittle the fear or, whatever to this point has caused you to like just shy away from going to code. I wish we could call it something else. Like honestly, command line, terminal, coding, like people do not want to think of those as relates to identity.
Yeah.
Right. But at the end of the day, it is a folder directory that you've seen in your Google Drive or your Microsoft system for years, for literally as long as there's been computers. And it is a Slack DM line, like with AI behind it. Right. If you can trust that, we just want you to start having the conversation with AI or humans like us that can help you like unlock that piece. So breaking them out, like decomposing the site has kind of allowed for this moment of getting a little more intentional with each thing and building agent teams around them that are also more intentional, right? That helps overcome a lot of the training data that we don't like, that's causing us to focus on leads and conversion instead of education and activation. Right. And the other thing I'm excited about that I just want to show Nico right now is the back end for anybody that creates content with me, trying to make it easier to like create the clips, share the clips, do stuff like that. So all that's in here right now is the road to Unbound.
So I wanted to, so this is where I was going with the agent to agent thing initially. I'm definitely going to be diving into that tomorrow. And so that's where we're going to go next with this, right? Where basically we're going to build whatever the connector is so that Aries can talk to V and Aries can just like, before we were doing this thing of like, oh, let me invite you to the repo and then, write to a branch and then somebody human has to go look at it and review it and approve it and this other thing. Our agents run an SOP. They run a whole process of all of that shit to make sure that everything is secure before it gets committed and pushed. Why the hell would we want to sit around and wait for any of that kind of crap to happen? So makes perfect sense if you have that set up, right? I was just about to do this for like for the rest of my apps when I was talking about like building apps. Like now I think about it as offloading cognitive load to an app
Yes,
and then
yes.
just giving Aries access to an agent that runs that app, and the two of them just have the conversation about what's necessary. Or Aries has like both, basically has like access to either talk to the app through the agent that runs it, or just directly use the MCP connection to that app to actually just do the function if she knows what it is and how simple it is and that kind of thing. Right. But it's more like, hey, you can either like, this is the way I look at it. You can either walk into Best Buy and go to the section that you know about, that you wanted to go to, and go look at the thing that you've already looked up, when you were at home and just need to go to the store and verify it. or you can go to Best Buy without looking at any of that stuff and talk to somebody who's there, and talk to the expert that works in that section and have them verify it for you. That's literally what I'm talking about. I have been saying this for the longest time. When you run into blockades that you can't necessarily figure out how to get around, apply it to a human problem. Is that you immediately figure it out, and it just inevitably maps one to one. You're gonna get this creepy feeling after a while of like, God damn, they were right about simulation theory. It's okay, just let it sink in over time. It's all right. But the best part about it is the fact that anytime you want to solve a problem, when I was trying to figure out how queuing worked, like queuing jobs, and like how do we do this, and what, oh man, why don't you understand the order in which I want these things to happen? I don't get it. And it was like, well, because this is the way these systems work. And I'm like, I don't understand those systems. So telling me that doesn't mean anything. Like, we're not speaking the same language at all here. So eventually it broke down, and I'm like, all right, man, look, the jobs I have, they're people standing in line at the bank. And the agent is the teller behind the counter. And I just want each person standing in line to be able to go to the teller and process their transaction. And while they're processing the transaction, the teller doesn't necessarily have to like handle that and writing the receipt at the same time. So the teller just handles the transaction, and the person can step to the side and wait for their receipt while the next person in line comes up to the teller. Oh yeah, totally understand that. Oh man, so we're gonna go set up a Redis, right? I'll set that up for you. We'll get those variables put into place. That's gonna that acts like that line that you're talking about, and it holds those people in that line for that short term that they need before they actually make it over to the teller, right? And so it's just this temporary thing, and it's like, yeah, okay, awesome. Now I understand this, like, not a huge thing, but I understand this layer of complexity now that goes between Vercel, Redis, Supabase, right? So like I understand there's like something that lives in between there that like I didn't realize needed to be there before, right? Yeah, it's like, no, I didn't know any of this stuff like months ago or whatever, right? Like it's just learning through where people say like, oh, but so many people say, you get dumber if you're using AI, you're going to get dumber. Like if you're not curious, I guess, I don't know. Like, I guess so. If you're only using it because you're only trying to shortcut the work that you're doing, it's not going to make you smarter, because you're like, all you're trying to do is shortcut and save yourself time. And, you're using it like a can opener, and that, it's whatever.
Right.
Like, it's whatever.
You're
Use it,
delegating,
right? That's fine. But
yeah, you're
yeah,
delegating the capability instead of adding it to yourself. Like,
yep.
it's like, if you want to get dumber, you will get dumber. If you want to get smarter, which is usually not how people thinking about it. Like, I want to do this thing. It's okay that AI does it, but it's still me. I'm still part of the process. That's
Right.
how you like up level. And when you can watch it happen in another human, it's the most beautiful thing. Like, people that think they weren't able to do the thing, and now all of a sudden they can. There is nothing more empowering, right? So, speaking of that, apparently 11 Labs has been hooked up. So we're gonna
Just tap you
see.
on the shoulder. Like, hey,
Yeah,
Chris, you finished with that one?
almost there. George says he has something like that set up where, like, he'll go do a thing and Echo will just voice the response back in the
Oh,
background.
gotcha.
And like, that's how he, like, I haven't taken the time again to set that up, but yeah, it's so we're gonna see. So I'm gonna, because I think I need to refresh the page to experience this. So how I'm gonna test it is I'm just gonna all right.
I'm Marquee.
There we go.
Studios is the media network, the shows, the episodes, the proof the work is real, made in public. Watch a conversation and go build the thing. This summer, the whole back catalogue catches up and the Academy folds in beside it.
All right. So now we're gonna do a hard refresh and see if it's different.
I'm Marquee. Studios is the media network, the shows, the
Maybe.
episodes.
Yeah, I'll keep testing. But that's also like one of the better voices. So I'm wondering if it's already connected. But we'll see. Let's just keep rolling here. 13, another orange morning.
Nice.
Director again. Another orange morning is the daily one. Casey and Chris, coffee, and a question. Will it workflow? It's the unglamorous proof that showing up every morning compounds. Small, consistent, in public. The opposite of a launch. And that's the point.
This is definitely 11 Labs now.
Yeah, yeah, it is.
The pacing and the
pacing,
pausing, like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's a different level.
Quality is like immediate because of the fact that like the other basically just reads it front to back. And it was the same when I was using GPT actually for doing the read. Like, yeah, okay, it was being read, but it was still like it's just so painfully obvious that it's like, okay, no, I know if I use 11 Labs and I use my own voice, it's going to be much better and like be higher quality than. So that's the thing, even though a lot of these models are quote multimodal, the multi-tool will never replace the tool that was meant to do the thing. It just doesn't, right? Like at the end of the day, and the thing. So people are like, yeah, but how many 11 Labs can you have? I don't know. How many screwdrivers are there? How many? There's so many different widths, different tips, different lengths, different styles, different grips. Like some of them are ratchet, some aren't ratchet, some have replaceable heads, some don't have replaceable. It's so many different screwdrivers. Not any one or any one brand rules them all. Hate to break it to you guys. There's not a vertical in screwdrivers. If you haven't know, I'm sure there's one brand, like I'm sure it's got that like wave to it or whatever. But I can guarantee you, like it's just a matter of like, oh, there's a new option on the market. Okay, let's go try it. So anyhow, all to get back to saying that, like, yeah, OpenAI has the capability of doing voice. I'm sure that Anthropic is probably going to enable, maybe because of bandwidth constraints, maybe not. But they may enable voice, and their voice model is also pretty decent. Gemini obviously also has voice. It is what it is. It's pretty decent. But you go to a voice model, and it's amazing because that's what it's meant to do. That's what it's trained to do. It's not trained to like do all the other extra stuff. It's just meant to do that thing. So yeah, to Chris's point about like the whole token, like now it's token apocalypse. Like I think they just look for bleeds to lead headlines, man. That's all it keeps feeling like to me, is just like all it was for 2 years was it's a bubble. It's a bubble. The whole thing's a bubble. I'll wait until it explodes in everybody's face. Didn't explode. Okay, well, data centers are a bubble. It's a bubble. Data centers, terrible thing. Okay, they immediately, thanks to AI, figured out how to pivot and shift and say, yeah, you know what? Fine, don't want them on Earth. Let's start working out how to put them in space. Boom. Okay, now we're going to space with them, right? And then there's another company that's like, yeah, I think we can put them out in the ocean. I don't like that idea at all. I'm just saying that right ahead of time. I don't like the idea of contaminating the environment with any sort of industrial anything. I don't like the idea at all. If we can somehow do what we need to do without doing that and without causing damage to the environment, so much the better. Even when it comes to like solar farms, there's stuff. So yeah, to me, it's like, look, space is what it is. So far as I can tell, we seem to at least have our own solar system to ourselves. As terrible as it sounds, humans are gonna human, right? So like, at least if we're gonna throw some trash out there, it's like it's in our own backyard. We can like use space to do that. So anyhow, yeah, being able to figure out those problems and get that stuff knocked out so that we can actually move forward with this technology so it can become more, Salim was talking about the fact of like the abundance. The abundance
Yeah,
is
yeah,
common, man. Like, I don't know if you saw, this was just for Kalshi and prediction markets. But if you're paying attention to just YouTube and you go do some searches, I have one. I'm not sure if I'm going to release it. I'll let you play with it too, so you can see what it's like and give me some feedback on it. It's called Croupier. If you understand what that's all about, you understand the purpose of the tool. And there are other people who have tools just like it. And basically, what they do is even the market so that you have just as much notice as anybody else, right? And even though there's fractional trading and that stuff that happens in like whatever tenths of a second and all that kind of stuff, you're $5 on a stock, whatever, you're $5 on 5,000 shares is still 5,000 shares, and if that thing goes from $5 to 500, you still have 5,000 shares of 500. You know what I mean? So like, these guys care if they bought it at, what I'm getting at is these guys, Wall Street cares if they bought it at 5 or like 5.25, right? Joe Blow don't care, right? Honestly, I'm telling you, don't care. Your margins are going to be so massive, you won't know what to do with them anyway, right? I can tell you, since I've been using this tool, yes, have not lost, have actually made a significant amount of money over the last couple months, especially because of what's going on overseas. So certainly plausible. It's going to keep happening. Market leveling tools essentially cause abundance because of the fact that it gives more money to people who by the standards of those on high should not have had that money.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
That's how, remember we've all talked about the game is rigged. You're not
Right.
supposed to be able to get to the level that these guys get to. Now you can for almost free. Like, it's so easy, right? So
Yep.
yeah,
This
we're months away, man. I think we're like months away. It really feels like it.
this relates to what I'm gonna reveal as number 20, like for sure. Um, uh,
Will it work?
but so much of it, again, is uh, like don't listen to all the noise. Because what sucks is when I hear people like saying, like, look at this response, like, it is brilliant, thank you. Right? I know most of the people that I am around will not do that because they don't want to waste the tokens, right? They won't say thanks like without another request, without another instruction, right? And I don't even do it that much because I am mindful of of that kind of stuff, but look at what happened when I did it, right? First of all, just the fun exchange here. That means a lot. Thank you. It was genuinely a fun build. And watching it go from real harness sketch to your live show to a voice that's actually theirs is the good stuff. Let me note the durable bits to memory so the next session picks up cleanly, then I'll get out of your way. Like, I can't give that instruction, right? It like it's gonna write it. And the more that you just talk and like it understands how to work together, it starts to remember the stuff it needs to remember, right? And then the next experience, new session or same session, like continues to get better. Um, and like even though it said, then I'll get out of your way.
No, you're
It
good.
says like when you want agents speaking live in the cockpit, which is my work surface, which maybe I'll show a little bit, but just say the word, enjoy the show. I am enjoying the show, so thank you. But then I'm like, and then this was like an autocomplete, right? where I'm just like, yep, tab, enter. Let's see what that's about. So now that's working. Like the entire time, there has been AI working, like during this show, right? Another thing, like, tell me you need to focus. Like, do that more. Like, please. Like, you're not trying hard enough. Like you especially if you pride yourself on being like a multitasker, right? Like, which has
Yeah.
never really been true when it's just humans by themselves. Like context switching is a real thing. So when somebody else is doing all the context switching and you're not, like you just have focus sessions in the morning, it's like, all right, here's the day. And then like you keep that stuff going. It's what I've been working on, over the past couple weeks. But I just wanted to show this real quick because this is an example of like once you have the foundation in place, right? And you know what's that if you're doing web development, especially like any web development that's already been done ever is available to the AI to go and do as long as it like knows what you want. And this is the second version of like a slot machine where it's like we do the show,
Oh
then
my
we
god,
like run this, right?
that's so great.
And it took me like an hour
Hmm.
maybe to do this because I had already done it. And this is where like we stop ourselves from doing the thing because the other thing didn't get done or we didn't realize it, right? I never even got to the show where I was going to use this version, which was like spin and like which agent are we going to meet today, right?
Yeah.
Um and like so since I had done that and it was in the same place where this website is being developed with the same agents, I was like, yeah, I want to do that over here too. And since it's going to be put over here, like the brand changes, it figures out, like I had to give the options of what was going to be
Mm.
here, but it's the same concept. Like I want a slot machine over there too. Like that's the instruction, right? Like it gets easier and easier and better when you can just start to unlock that. The next step here, because I've fallen away from it because Breeze Assistant has gotten so good. So I want to we've chained this into like will it breeze? Uh, because the answer to the question is always yes. Our goal is to help people understand and make you aware that yeah, you can do way more than you usually think you can, like in HubSpot and with AI, specifically.
Mm.
So rolling again,
Rolling.
value first agent. I think you're talking about this
I'm
earlier.
Foundry. ValueFirstAgent.com is the agent organization packaged. The same fleet running this season turned into something a team can actually adopt. Not a chatbot. An org chart of agents with owners and quality gates. The product version of how we work.
So I think this first became like a site like 4 or 5 months ago. And the intent is kind of what Nico described earlier, where it's like, and finally I'm getting to the point where some clients, like I'm able to package some of this stuff to like get them started and like just the whole concept of agents, you have to think about how you're using and working with AI like differently. But as soon as you can get there, watch out. Um, so just another way to hopefully help people, unlock this. So Ledger. And by the way, like all these pictures, they're all stored in Sanity. Like it's just, and I don't put them there. I don't create the pictures. I don't store them. I didn't create any of the infrastructure.
Nope.
Um, like all that stuff happens through the command line and um, the agents are doing that for me. So the goal here is going to be like it's not all active. This is why it's 20 initiatives not that have been completed already, but that I'm trying
Right.
to move forward all summer. It's like, hey, you want to add to your team? $5, deployment kit available with agent definition, command, enforcement skills. This is one I probably should maybe uh, increase the cost of. HubSpot's data model is a specifically challenging beast for most folks. But we've got some leadership commentary here from V. Ledger is the single most important governance agent in the system. Before Ledger, agents wrote to HubSpot directly with incorrect property names, wrong association type IDs, and string labels instead of numeric IDs. Two specific incidents where some duplicate properties were generated, and some things were directly written wrong. Produced CARs, or corrective action reports, call back to the QMS system, that established the permanent rule. V must override inline/command write instructions and route through Ledger regardless. So Ledger is responsible and the only agent out of 100 that is allowed to write to HubSpot. And again, it comes down to he's got all the expertise and understanding of how our HubSpot works, how we think about HubSpot. And he actually, I don't know if I have it anywhere, but I just promoted him to owning the HubSpot package that serves the entire platform everywhere, so that when I'm in moments where it can be deterministic, where I press a button and everything's wired to just send it to HubSpot, Ledger doesn't have to do all the writing himself, as long as he's signed off on the infrastructure that will be writing to HubSpot, right? That way I can not have to do everything, through the AI flow, because that is definitely part of the learning curve. That
Mhm.
get to that 95%, and the 5% that's wrong or that needs to be adjusted, you have to have another conversation with AI to fix it. It's like, oh man, I don't know if I want to do that right now. Like, and like, so coming off of that, again, ending that 5%, it's like, okay, I know that's in HubSpot, so I'll just go fix it like real quick right there. I'm not going to ask, Ledger to do that for me. So yeah, that's value first agent. Excited to expand that. One of the things, and again, why it's not done is, like, since it rolled up, a couple, like 4 months ago, before I had 100 agents,
Oh,
I only
wow.
have 20, right? So it's not dynamically updating with the system yet, which is part of the work that needs to be done here. But production proven, like the QMS system, Q's responsibility, and Aegis, who owns the agent, like it's the chief of staff of the agents, what is why I was able to hire one this morning. And like it was this one.
I'm Cadence. The Curation Engine decides what earns your attention today. Interest over importance,
From the
energy
first time
over
we heard her,
urgency.
right? So she was onboarded today and has like HubSpot Insanity profiles, has like all of her expertise pack, like about behavioral psychology that's web researched and referenced, and she has a voice and a sprite because there is a process for onboarding agents
Mhm.
that I can say, hey, Aegis, time to onboard another agent. Follow the process. And if anything I think is out of place, I'm like, hey, Aegis, did the process get done? Right? It's like, oh, yeah, we didn't do this last thing. I'm going to go do that. Like, okay, cool. Right. Instead of saying, hey, uh, why doesn't Cadence have this yet? Right? It's like, hey, you were supposed to go through the process. Did you follow the process? They will catch that they didn't, if they didn't, every single time. And all of that is like just reinforcement. It's again, just like humans working together. If you want somebody to learn the role, don't fix every problem for them. All right, let's roll again. Value First Design Studio. Again, this is like a week or two old. Perplexity had a lot of involvement in this one. I'm not good at remembering these numbers. Number 9.
I'm Catalyst. Every site in this constellation runs on one design engine, built in public at valuefirstdesign.com. One brand, one set of tokens, everything downstream of it. When all these pages feel like one place, that's the studio doing its job.
So this is like, so it took me 3 or 4 months to understand the concept of like design systems fully. Like when I say fully, beyond like brand identity, where it's like, all right, we're going to use these colors and we're going to use these fonts and H1, H2, H3, like all the stuff that you're used to setting up. Like if you're doing a HubSpot website or any like drag and drop, right? But this is where starting to get into, like, as I was building more stuff and as I was going this route, I was like, all right, I got to find a way to like understand what's going on here, but then only build it once.
Right.
Right. And I was having trouble like getting like trusting that the agents were going to truly start from scratch, because it's always like a rebuilding from something, and it's related to the Obsidian plugin, where
Yeah.
Obsidian has a base infrastructure.
Right.
But
So
the
it's
plugin,
wanting to, yeah.
So it's wanting to do everything CSS like based, even though you build the agent and all of the profile, all the stuff I just said, onboarded, like, all right, Catalyst, you're in. We're going to use a React based approach because you just told me it's just like web development and we can do whatever we want in there. So it was a journey to get to the point where that actually became true, because every time there was space or I asked for something that wasn't the exact like React version of the thing, because the rest of the system is like CSS based, and that's where like there was fights between what we were building and what Obsidian like defaults to. That was one of those moments last Sunday where finally, like, because we do the work of like, I tell Perplexity what I want to do. I was like, but I want to help start from scratch. Like, build me an app that will help me understand tokens, components, like all the different pieces, and I can play and understand like how it all works together, right? Understand different components. Oh yeah, by the way, I like fly-ins and I think we should be using them way more. So help me build out those specs so that instead of just saying, hey, Catalyst, I want to use some fly-ins and having to explain exactly what I want every time, like trying to get around that. So Perplexity builds this app, which is, Next.js plus, or no, it's Vite. This is a Vite app. Like building that in the CSS based world, right? Different ball game. And until last Sunday, there was something getting in the way of the React code that's in there, like being represented instead of the CSS based stuff. And finally, Catalyst found how that was happening, made the change, and then the whole system just got beautiful. It's like, it's just that moment where, hey, I'm not a dev, right? And because I've been working with this stuff for 7 months now. Like, and I know how to get to the truth, like, and just to keep asking, like, hey, you said this over here. Now you're saying this. That's okay, but they can't both be true. So which one is it? And like, I was ready to pack it in on the React based approach. Like, okay, maybe you weren't honest the first time, but turns out, even though you're telling me right now that you can't do it, I pointed to when you said you could. And then you understand and you solve the problem finally in the right way. And the whole system, like the code isn't there somewhere, right? So much of this, it's kind of like when you trust data in HubSpot. If you know the data is in there, right? Figure out how to access it. Don't create another place like
Yep.
for the data, right? So trusting that it's in there and that um so this has been fun. And again, this is like just for me, basically. And like maybe, but I've started using it for other things. I'm not going to like show that URL because I haven't locked it down yet. But the ability to understand what I want the global design system to look like and what it actually looks like on the website right now, right? Across all of these 12 sites. I've started using it for that. Like, it's so powerful. And there's like some ADA stuff in here. Like when I first, which is interesting because it doesn't really work, and I haven't tried to like troubleshoot it all. But like, so repair all to AA, which is like accessibility standards, right?
Nice.
Then it switches like one of the colors.
Yeah,
But then it
so that
does
it actually falls into compliance.
right. Which then makes this harder to read. So I don't understand how it works, but that's the idea. And those are the kinds of things where it's like a lot of humans could use help in departments like that.
Yep.
Um,
We did the same thing
so
recently, and actually Anthropic, just so for like everybody else that is like questioning, where do you get your resources? How do you make these things so good? Blah blah blah. You know, like 10 out of 10 times, I'll send out like several swarms of agents and deep researchers to pull together the resources on what I need for a particular thing, because that's the equivalent of me going and asking a league of experts and pulling together like leagues of research papers, because all of that data becomes essentially reference data for the agent, right? So like anything it needs to know, ought to be covered under those things. And if it's not, then that's something that we end up adding to it. But trust me when I say it's rarely the case. At any rate, Anthropic just released a Git repo that you can get access to that has something like what 750 plus or whatever security, different types of security checks, basically, that you can again tell your agent, hey, here's this repo. It's got all these different security checks. Have at it. Let's suck them all in. Add it to the security checks agent that we run. Add it as part of the skills, right? And then next time we have to run a security audit on our platform, have the security agent run the appropriate audit based on the type of security measures that apply to the platform, right? Like whatever that ends up being, I don't know.
yeah. And again, AI can help you do the old things at scale and much faster, or it can help you do some new stuff. And security is a great example where if you just, this is where we help, by the way. And this is why I want you to come to the academy or like watch our stuff or set up some time to chat. Like when I first asked like how to make the website, the full platform more secure, it told me as if I was like a Fortune 500 enterprise organization, like, oh, this is what SOC 2 compliance look like. This is this is all the layers. These are the organizations that are good at doing that for you. It will cost hundreds of thousands of dollars. I was like, hey man, I see risk a little bit differently. So let me get your AI native take on, like, about me, what we're trying to accomplish. I'm not an enterprise. What do I really need to worry about? And what are the options for us worrying about that stuff if we want to implement it, right? Otherwise, you never get to that repo that Nico just described. Like, it'll suggest things like all of the compliance work. And as soon as we see all that stuff, it's like, oh, okay, yeah, that's what I thought. But yeah, we don't really have time or money. It's like, nope. Like, it's one of my favorite phrases and why I use it everywhere, AI native. Like, if you tell the agent, like, hey, it's like, just get rid of all your human data for a second, right? Like, AI to human, give me the lowdown. How would AI do it? Right? It changes the answers dramatically because it's trying to work from a place that's not unnecessarily complex the way that humans like to make things, right? And you can innovate in the moment. And again, like, that's where you're there for the output of, like, oh, is this actually secure? Do I actually feel risk anymore? Right.
Right.
But you got to be willing to ask, like, just dig in a little bit more. And really, I've gotten into the habit of anytime I feel friction or feel like something's hard, I'm like, let me go. Wait a second. I've got AI right here. I probably don't need to be feeling this friction right now. It probably isn't as hard as I think it is. Then lo and behold, it's not. And we just get the thing done, right? The problem solved. Versus what I used to do all the time and still do, right? But again, a big part of the series is like, yeah, if I put it off, if I wait till tomorrow, if I put any more responsibility on myself that I have to do more to solve the problem, or like, the less likely that thing's gonna get done. Um, so the road to Unbound, what's that? Director again.
I'm director. The Road to Unbound is the countdown, a live show pointed at one date. Unbound, September 16th, Boston. 5 hosts, real conversations, building toward the room. Every episode is a step closer. This is the season with a finish line.
This one has been fun and super grateful to work with folks like Rob Jones, George B. Thomas, Casey Hawkins, Kyle Jepson. And let me tell you, and this is where I haven't done the best job of distributing this. But that's why, let's see here. That's what's brought me to, like, solving for it through mechanisms like this to make it easier for the other folks to start participating, right? So all the clips here, um, uh, like, Kyle Jepson has been dropping some knowledge bombs on this show, and, like, about how, like, and my favorite thing, and what I love to be able to do, like, for any of the folks that I do content with, it's like a different approach. Like, he doesn't have to he's not giving updates here. He's not on the hug. You get to hear, like, some real opinions and thoughts and feelings from Kyle about all the changes, about AI and how admins are viewing it. And man, the last episode, he warmed my heart in the way that he was talking about lead scoring and how maybe it's not the answer like it used to be. But yeah, this has been fun, and I look forward to having more Unbound insiders specifically on the show soon. We did a show with Jay Schwedelson that think is here, right?
Mhm.
And now that I'm to the point where a lot of this is automated, um, I'm now confident that the distribution will improve.
Don't worry. I know that we're gonna work on something this coming week that we're both gonna be like, wow, why weren't we doing this before?
I like that outcome.
Yep.
That things like that are again why I'm watching this today. I'm glad that paying the money for the moonshots gathering is what got us here. Uh, hey, it's the forcing function. I need to find it. I finally found it, and I'm excited. The AI native shift. Number 2.
I'm Sage. The AI native shift is the why under all of it. This isn't a tool you bolt on, it's a different way of operating. anativeshift.com is where that case gets made, and where we pilot delivering the value, not just describing it.
I was so excited for her to read the website better. And like the .com was good. It's
Right.
funny how AI has a real issue saying AI. Even harder when it's packed into a word like this. But even when it's by itself, sometimes it's like, yeah, we're not going to focus on that part. We're going to focus on AI native shift. Thank you, Sage. But again, working, I mean, whether you're a practitioner or a business, like if you're a practitioner and wondering where the next opportunity is for you, and you're worried about anything related to like your billable hours or your projects or whatever, the total addressable market here is 100% of the world. So pick your niche or don't. Just start helping. Again, the challenge is like this organic approach, and like you've got to get people into a conversation, getting them touching, feeling all of this stuff to have any chance of shifting. But again, we're here and AI is here to help you, you know, um, shift into, to help people shift. And if you're on the business side, understand that every other business in the world is having the same challenges you are.
Mhm.
Uh, Please don't try to push it away. Um, uh, so excited for that. Um, roll a d20. Number 8, valuefirstbooks.com. Man, I think I'm starting to feel the weight of all these 20 initiatives here. What is valuefirstbooks.com, Baldwin?
I'm Baldwin. The trilogy is the long-form argument. 3 books that take the time a post can't. ValueFirstBooks.com is 1 room, 3 doorways, and this summer the AI native shift writing folds straight into it. The case made slowly and on purpose.
Well, sir.
Yep, working on some books. I had done one for the Sespocalypse, surviving the Sespocalypse, which is the first book in the trilogy. All there really are is like, how can we create a better door for you to come into? It's all relates to AI native transformation, like
Mhm.
at the end of the day. But I started, this was the one thing I got done with Fable, was like from scratch, from no book to book with the AI native shift. Because there was already a draft of this, already a draft of this. I said, "Hey, Fable, like let's see what you got." Um, and I think it's like a 3-hour audiobook that I was able to listen to. That's how I found out about like Kokoro. Um, and but it's here. Uh, so this is the AI native ship book. The other 2 are coming. Um, but I'm gonna find like so this is just first like one shot. And why I haven't been posting it. Like one of the reasons I haven't been like, all right, I gotta show this to everybody is I listened to it and I'm like, yep, super repetitive. There's AI tropism tropes like everywhere, right? So even though it's Fable, like I was as hands off as I could be just to see what the output was, right? And now I'm going to work, with uh, folks like Baldwin to make it better. But like the gems that can come out of this, right? Uh, I see the same picture every week at smaller scale. A team processing quotes and orders, the current price list literally thumbtacked to a cubicle wall. Half the team working from the old version in a folder somewhere. The people inside it are genuinely good. You build those muscles when you're in it every day. But when the new person comes, it's impossible to train them. Nobody can say how the machine works. The machine is Marie, and Marie is on vacation. Like,
That's hilarious.
so good. And there's a couple other ones in there. I need to show one more. Just because uh it's like when it hits, it's so much fun. Like, so if you can just let yourself, you know, have a little fun first. Like again, like I'm not making any qualms about whether this is ready for publishing or not. It's not, but it, like there's no concerns in me putting on a website and like sharing it. Um and like let me see here. Right. I think it was layer 5, right? Um and so this is about there's layers and like usually people start at the interface. Like they buy HubSpot and think that HubSpot is gonna be to solve the problem when their data is shit. They don't have any kind of like customer frameworks that they work with. The humans are all over the place. They have no governance, right? But somehow HubSpot's going to come in, right? So layer 5, where humans meet the system. On the left side of the diagram, the inbox, the chat thread, the project tool, 17 tabs, and a prayer. On the right, one place to work that actually knows your business because every layer beneath it holds up. This 17 tabs and a prayer line really resonated. So yeah, that's what we're working on there. Just listened to a podcast yesterday, the two Bobs, where like something to the effect like famous consultants, coaches, thought leaders, practitioners, whatever, like you don't necessarily write the book to make money from the book, right? But they all have books, right? And it's just like, as humans, this is one of those, maybe a little bit of a human hack here. Kind of like when I tell people I do shows on LinkedIn, it's like, oh, you must be like important. I'm like, I mean, anybody could do the show, but there's like that concept, or that like gravitas. It's like,
Right.
oh, there's a book, right? You're never gonna read the book, but like, hey, we'll just put it on the shelf. I am gonna try and bring a little more value than that with these books. But again, a bunch of this stuff turns into being like more documentation that the AI can follow, and just the process of writing it, right? Helps create the context. So Compass is the let me have Navigator tell you, actually.
I'm Navigator. Compass is where a client actually lives the engagement, their roadmap, their proof, their next session, all in one place instead of scattered across chat. It's the AI native shift made visible to the person paying for it. real clients today.
That's in the simplest explanation. It's our portal. It's our self-service portal for clients that we've been working really hard on to make it easier for clients and ourselves and agents to all communicate, successfully, while storing all of the data in HubSpot. And I've learned a lot about like data contracts to where if I need it to show up on a website this way, that means it needs to look like this in HubSpot on this property at this point. And can we transcribe a meeting? Can we take the transcription from a meeting, have it be processed into the HubSpot property, and have it automatically show up on Compass? The answer is yes. This takes the biggest change we've had is like building the process around the transcript, right? Like the gold happens on the calls usually. And if you treat the transcript as an afterthought, like as just, oh, here's some context, like, go ahead and process it, break it down. Like when you design how the project management works, the data model about what's happening in the meetings, like it's just been really powerful. And there's been improvements, made because it's easier for the agents like to create value with the transcript, right? So I use appointment records a lot to support that because there's pipelines. And again, like all of this structure starts to help the agents like do the work for you.
Mhm.
This is a new one that I haven't told anybody about. Coming soon.
I'm Cadence, the behavioral governor. AI native humans is the part nobody says out loud. Doing this can quietly cost the human. It's the open room for the people who feel that. You're not the only one. And we build for you, not against you.
AI
Who's that
native
person?
humans. What's that?
Who's that person in the org? Like that, because like she was saying that like trying not to get rid of that person, but sort of empower them.
Yep. All the people who know they need to be AI native, but feel like they aren't allowed to be like in their org or on LinkedIn. This is meant to create the space for like kind of like a community of sorts, for it to be around other people that also want to be AI native. So literally, if you're AI native human, like come on over, like you're welcome. You're welcome here. You're going to find other humans that want to be AI native too. And yeah, just trying to create space like everywhere. It's a new identity, like
Right.
that we're trying to move people into. Here's a good AI native isn't a job title or a tech stack. It's the orientation, the felt sense that the work and your part in it is becoming something new. If that lands, you belong here. That's the whole test. And I'm excited, I mean, to put some of these pieces together. It involved some new apps and infrastructures that I have not seen or like been exposed to. And the agents are going to like be here too, helping out. But I had to say, hey, like, stop giving me all the traditional ideas for how you build online communities. Like, let's think of this differently. Like, kind of similar to the curation engine concept, but like in community form. Like, how do we make it so everything is relevant all the time, everything is contextual, and you know that you're in the right place. To feel seen, find your people, and think out loud together. Uh, Beautiful. First time I clicked on that page. I like it. The Value First Collective, kind of the practitioner version, and I've got to clean up a little bit there. So I'll speak on behalf of Trellis. But kind of the practitioner version that's happened first ahead of AI native people or AI native humans, of folks that have gotten together that want to help businesses do things differently, think about things like differently, talk about the hard stuff of which words that we should be using to try and get through to people. What are we actually building? What value are we providing? We do Value First collective meetup about once every 2 weeks. I've got about 20 people overall, I think, right now, showing up every now and then, and just always a good conversation, and trying not to overthink it. The feedback I always get is like, just the space to have these conversations. That's what everybody needs, like right now. And so trying to imagine a world where there's no cut, like going to Value First. It is, imagine if this collective existed and just everybody that was participating in it became wildly successful. Like that's a win. The Value Path game, coming soon. This is the game designer, Anvil. Is that a 5 or 14? Oh, my lucky number. Cool.
I'm Anvil. I design the games. The Value Path game turns the methodology into something you play. You learn the path by walking it, not reading it. Same instinct that made this summer a D20 you just rolled. Methodology you can actually lose at.
Hardcore.
What's that?
Andrew sounds hardcore.
Yeah, that's Anvil, actually.
Anvil, sorry.
The game systems designer. He was actually hired through a session with Perplexity. Right. So when we say all this stuff is model agnostic, it really is. Because I was building out this game over there. And I don't know if, let's see, value. There we go. So this is inspired by my love of blueprints and like roguelite games, where it's like walking you through the customer life cycle as it's seen by the value path. 3 doors, you're an audience, pick one. We want to do thought leadership, educational artifact, or deep dive. We're going to do thought leadership, publish it. Has the traps built in into the system, and it's just a gamified way to try and teach them stuff. So started a couple months ago. Again, like all these irons in the fire that I'm trying to bring out of the fire over the summer. Oh, look at that. One left. I guess we get to see it. Maybe. There we go.
Thanks.
All right. What are we doing here, Pax?
Pax again. And that's a 20. This is the one we don't talk about yet. valuefirstmarkets.com, a market for value itself, running on the points you just met. It sat fogged on the board all season. You earned the reveal. There it is.
Oh man, they go so hard on the format sometimes. Um, yeah, so I am one who doesn't want to play the game of investment and listen to investment advice and get good at it when I also hear the same people saying money's not going to matter very soon. Um, so this started with a prompt that was like, okay, uh, how can I participate um, in value, like value creation, the value that's coming, like we've been talking about it ever since we started Singularity Soothsayers about how like where at some point we just find ways to barter value with each other because everything's like AI is gonna be doing it or it's gonna be it's gonna be free, like abundance, right? And but there's still gonna be value exchange. And how we'll be able to find other people that have value that we want or that have value like we have value that they might need. Right. So the idea again, this was a perplexity conversation first, based on the will to uh try and find something worthy of, winning something like this. Um, which again, now that I've read the rules and it's based on like revenue generation, might have to rethink the strategy. But when they talk about things like the Star Trek world and like what is that going to look like, it has to involve something like things like this, where just value is not measured by dollars and cents, but we have to understand what the value exchange looks like between humans to trust and have some certainty that, okay, I've seen Nico do this thing like, hundreds of times. It's probably not dissimilar from a lot of like platforms like Amazon right now, where there's a thing being sold and there's lots of people who bought that thing and they tell you how much they love that thing, but you have to pay money like to get the thing. When money doesn't matter, like how are we exchanging? Like, so just like earlier, talked about value creation protocol, trying to define value, the actual value that's being created uh, and then multiplied, like trying to create a space where we can focus on that and not necessarily things like, profitability and quarterly statements and dashboards and things like that.
Boring
So,
shit.
yeah.
All the new boring shit.
Right. And I wouldn't be surprised, like in the face of these $1 trillion IPOs, like OpenAI just said, Sam just said that maybe they take a minute, maybe they take a beat before they IPO and delay it, while also saying things like bringing the cost down. Like
for inference, yeah.
If the primary goal of an IPO is to raise funds and the funds don't matter, like until the financial system changes, like it's going to get harder and harder to make the math work on like basing everything around the value of dollars and cents in the current financial system. So again, I am like one of the biggest novices to all this stuff. But this is my approach. Like, I know there's value to be created and shared and multiplied and exchanged. But I'm pretty sure there's a bunch of people out there like me as well that don't necessarily want to play that game, uh, especially when I don't think it's long for this world. So I'll put my focus on trying to figure out that piece. Oh, we did it, man.
You made it.
Thank you so much for hanging with me. Always a pleasure. I uh, I look forward to getting back in the content schedule with you. I
Oh, yeah.
miss you.
Same.
And like, yeah, this has been fun. This is my public offering of like trying to hold myself accountable to all this stuff. If you're out there and I've successfully clipped this up for you to actually see it at the end of a 3-hour broadcast. If you want to participate in any of these things or any of them resonate, come on, like let's work on this stuff together. Lots of space for everybody to add value and create value and figure out what their value is as they make the shift and transition. So until next time, my friend.
Until then, sir.
See everybody later.
Peace, y'all.